of them as well. What a move from the 48. Oh, look at this, and onto the straight they come.
Brilliant move there from the number 40 to make it through. That left-hander sliding up the inside, going up now over Hawthorne Hill, down Pilgrim's Drop, and it's brilliant stuff here at Brands Hatch.
We are ready to go racing for night number 2 in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship and its support category, the UK Formula 4 1600s, as we venture our way to a new circuit for the series. And of course, it's the fastest circuit in the United Kingdom. It is Thruxton. It is going to be tricky. It's going to be difficult. It is going to be a whole lot of fun in the 4 races we have across the evening. As always, at least it has been for the last couple of years, myself, Liz McLean's Cam Roger alongside me, and look, it's a great track to have. It's maybe going to be a little bit chaotic, and to be fair, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. This series is chaos as it is, but this circuit is a brilliant introduction to what we're going to see, or addition, I should say, into what we're going to see throughout the course of this championship. It's going to be fast. It's going to be frantic. There's little overtaking opportunities. So if you do, it's going to have to be a big descent into the complex or down into the final chicane. So it's going to be a whole load of fun over the course of the evening over the 2 categories.
Yeah, let's keep our eyes focused here in the Formula 4 to explain as to how this evening is going to unfold. We have the lone qualifying, which will be coming up in a few moments' time. 4 laps they'll get to the circuit all by themselves, and that will set the grid for race number 1. Then there'll be a random reverse grid. The spinny wheel will be out in action, and then we'll be getting race 2 underway. And once we're done with that, we will be heading over to British Formula 4 Esports. This is the calendar, though, that we've got. Obviously, we've got a couple of weeks off after this. We had that fantastic start at Donington Park just a week ago. Then we're here at Thruxton. Then we go to Snetterton 300, Alton Park International, and Silverstone for a triple header there in back-to-back weeks for rounds 3, 4, and 5 before we'll have a breather for a couple of weeks and then get the show under the road for the final 3 rounds. Knockhill, Zandvoort, and Brands Hatch. We know there's a few wild cards in there, most notably that round at Knockhill is always going to be a little bit chaotic. These are the prizes they're fighting for here in the Formula 4 1600s. Of course, the top 2 drivers will have a seat in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, fully paid for next season. Also, the winning driver will receive the Hoisingfeld Ultimate Black 3-pedal set. Second place will get the Sprint 3-pedal set, and then, of course, the third place driver getting the Sprint 2-pedal set. And also, the top 3 drivers will receive a named trophy, which is always a bit of fun. This is how the standings are at the moment heading into this round. Matt Kendall ends up being our championship leader at present after finishing both races on the podium the previous round. Of course, getting to dive victory and probably feeling a little bit sorry about it. He's got the speed to prove that he can do so. Crofton Woodhatch was victorious in the opening race of the season from pole position, and Sam Sanders was the driver who was victorious in the second race of the evening. Brandon Loudon up there as well. Timmy Miller-Kangas, who was penalised in that second race after a bit of incident. Speaking of penalties, Cameron Roger, I'm not going to just because it's penalties and you can sometimes be a little bit dirty. Jamie Hopper is the first driver of the season to receive a qualifying ban for a few too many incidents out in Donington Park. Shouldn't be too bad for this round, though, because you can overtake around it.
You certainly can, but yeah, a couple of penalties going out after the first round. We did see a few interesting overtaking manoeuvres and crashes at Donington Park. I'm sure we'll see it again. The stewards are going to be busy all season with how hard these guys race, and it did look like for a moment, at least in the practice, there's a tiny bit of spray out there on the circuit as well, so that can always introduce some things. Although in these Formula 4s, we do keep on the same tyres. There's no tyre changing. They just have to get used to the less lack of grip underneath the tyres as they slide their way into the first part of this qualifying laps.
Yeah, I do have the circuit. At the moment, it is showing that it's pretty dry out there, but again, there's clearly, you can see there as we were departing the complex at Seagrave on this way around the back at odd points of circuit, there is a little bit of spray. So clearly, I think there's been something around the circuit. There are a couple of puddles. which I can see kind of edging the circuit, but it shouldn't really make too much of a difference. I think it's just very much respect the track limits all the way around, and it is a circuit, yeah, with such high speed. It is the fastest circuit here in the United Kingdom, so you've got to respect it a little bit.
You certainly do, but some drivers won't. They will lose out, I'm sure, if you go a little bit overboard. But as far as I can't wait to see how these races are going to go, especially here into this braking zone towards the end of the lap. It's really curved. You're basically doing like a 90-degree curve in the braking zone, so someone is going to lock wheel, someone's going to get a bit wiggly at the rear end of the lap, and it's certainly going to be interesting indeed. As practice is coming to an end, they have to go out in their qualifying session. As you say, they just got the 4 laps to put down, and looking how close it is as well, the top 15 drivers in the practice session basically are within half a second, and almost all of the drivers within a second. Is going to be close, and as ever, if you just sneak a 10th here or there, you're going to be jumping up quite a few rows.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a relatively tight qualifying session, as you say. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Jaden Sherwood, by the way, was the driver who topped practice here. Actually was second in practice to Franek Sikorsky back in Donington Park. The time that he set was a 1:18.291. Franek Sikorsky ended up in second in the session with an 18.313. Are those going to be the 2 drivers to beat? Or, well, like at Donington Park, drivers like your Crofton Woodhatches and such step up in this qualifying session and find that elusive time.
Indeed, and that is what Woodhatch did basically in the previous round of Donington Park. Is he found a 10th. And that is a lot. When you have, maybe 3 or 4 people behind you in the next 10th, and then you go 1/10 faster, that really gives you that advantage. And what he did for him in that first race was he was able to basically hold on at the front because he had that extra 10th in hand in speed. So I need to see what is going to happen, of course, in qualifying. But there's not many braking zones around here, really. So it will be a very interesting lap. But let's have a look around, Lewis, and see what we have to have at Thruxton Park.
Yeah, indeed. The Thruxton circuit sees us enter the opening corner at Allard, which is pretty simple in these cars, especially when we get into the Formula 4s later on in the evening. Completely flat. We head down out into the complex, continues to turn left, we get onto the brakes just after the 100-meter board, and then flick it into the right hander. You can take a lot of the curb through here. You probably see less of the curb being taken in the Formula 4s, although that middle curb, which is the apex of Cobb, the midpoint of the complex, really important to hammer it over. However, as we ride on board with Dylan McClements, who needs to have a good round here after a disappointing run at Donington Park, goes a little bit wide as he comes out of Seagrave. This is down towards Goodwood, then around the back end of the circuit, and everyone's thoughts around this point, just find that right time to get onto the throttle here as you go through Goodwood. Just some subtle lifts going through there, then down towards the most iconic corner on this circuit. It's Church, so fast through here, one of the fastest corners in British Motorsport, and of course, again, the highest average speed of any circuit around this country. Final chicane ready to be had. It's a tricky braking zone of this one at Club, constantly turning right as you're trying to get onto the brakes. Find the apex late going through the first bit, slam it over the second one and the third one as well before heading up towards the line. Very easy to get that chicane wrong. Now, Dylan McClements there, not a particularly good lap time, mostly courtesy of that running wide at Seagrave. Obviously, the time is not going to count, so there's an off-track on it. But still, we'll see if he can tidy that lap up as Matt Kendall goes to the top of the session.
Certainly does, but Bramley beats him by half a second, as you expect with the going off the track. And in Sherwood as well, just going up into second place. Of course, these first laps may not be the fastest of those drivers sort of warm themselves up into the session. Tiny bit of spray out there as well, so maybe that dries up a little bit. You may gain a couple of tenths as we get towards the end of the qualifying session, but still everyone except Dovimbo within a second of the fastest lap as well. As here's Charlie Summers coming up towards that Club chicane. You see how you have to really sort of just be twinkle toes on all of the inputs, keep it nice and steady as you come up towards the line. It's a fairly short run to the line as well in grand scheme of things, but you will start another lap with 6 minutes to go.
goes into 9th position in the session, just about 1 second off of Hayden Bramley at the top of the session. Expect these times to start going much faster indeed. Again, the top time from practice was an 18.291. Once they've used all of their laps, then maybe we can we'll find a little extra time. Crofton Woodhatch we're currently on board with. Of course, the driver who had pole position and victory back in Donington had a slightly disappointing second race. I say slightly disappointing, it wasn't exactly, it was terrible. Finished in 7th place, did his best to try and keep out of trouble. Sometimes in this series though, trouble will always find you.
Indeed, and it's one of those things where he was a bit cautious the first couple laps, and then he tried to make some moves, and it just actually made him go backwards. So I wonder if he has another good result in race 1 and gets put back into the middle of the pack for race 2 again, then he might be rethinking how he goes through his strategies. Of course, he goes up into 2nd place. That's a bit more like it after struggling back in the first round. We were expecting him to be one of the contenders potentially with his experience and speed that we've seen recently, but had an issue in round 1. However, 2/10 off is looking much better as Woodhatch comes up towards the club chicane. Such a long run there in these cars. Really do hit top speed in these cars, and then again just be so nice over the curves, be aggressive, but oh, look at that, a little bit too much on that last apex this time. As he comes up towards the line, is he going to be able to jump up towards the top? No, it's going to be way off.
I think he's probably having a pretty relaxed start to his runs. The times where very much in these cars around here, you're expecting them to get faster as the session rolls on, and that 4th one is the one you need to capitalise on. Again, a limit of 4 laps in this qualifying session. It's not the easiest circuit to navigate with the highest level of confidence if you need to build some of it. As Dothenbauer goes up into 8th position, Isaac Gabe will be the next one across the line, goes up into 12th. Session's a little bit more spread out than I was expecting, Cam, at least at present.
Yeah, not all the fastest times coming in the first couple laps, that's for sure. We got 4 minutes left, although it is a relatively short track, so they'll do their 4-lap run fairly quickly. As here comes Kendall, 3rd place, also 3/10 down as it stands, as he keeps it really tight, working his way through up towards Church Corner, and out onto the back straight, of course, where you're going to need to just keep your foot flat. But this is the important point. You're already basically at top speed. You just got to then use all of the curb, but keep the momentum going as he uses all of the curb inside and out, and then gets the run down that back straight. It's all about keeping the car as straight as possible.
Did mention he was slightly frustrated in the last round, particularly in the first. It was in the first race. It wasn't salty, it wasn't irritated or anything about the second race. It was just that first race. As Crofton Woodhatch now goes up into 2nd, absolutely clobbers the chicane. Surely that's not legal. That was absolutely pummeled. I think there was a bit of a saying that maybe that wasn't quite right, but either way, he's crossed the line, absolutely through for that. I mean, I don't know about you. That was mad from Matt Kendall. What we're saying though, he's getting a little bit frustrated in the first race back in Donington, courtesy of a lot of battling that allowed Crofton Woodhatch to check away into the distance, and he felt that it was robbed at least the opportunity to go for the race victory. Still, the only driver this season to have had podiums in the opening 2 races. Here comes Franek Sikorsky, not looking the happiest.
No, unfortunately not. So 3rd place is going to be, so Woodhatch's jump up into 2nd place. Sherwood went to 4th. We also had Loudon up into 9th place in the last 20 seconds or so as the next few laps come in. We are seeing Woodhatch continuing on with another lap. There's still some spray out there, but the times are coming in thick and fast. We are basically matching what we saw in the practice session as well, so we are getting potentially towards the limit of the car. But can Woodhatch find anything on this lap as he uses all of the curbs once more?
Absolutely full commitment through that final chicane, and we're going to see a lot of that through the races. Towards the line he goes, 3.92, good enough for pole position. He moves up to the top, does Crofton Woodhatch, and could it be back-to-back pole positions to start the 2025 season? Well, he's putting himself in the best possible scenario for it, and we'll have to wait and see. It was Woodhatch and Bramley on the front row just a week ago. That's looking like it might be a repeat here, Cam.
So he might be, as that shot from Morel, I think it's going through Goodwood. Awesome. I mean, you're basically 4-wheel sliding it through there in these cars as well. All 4 tyres having some slip going through there. Really have to hang the car out and have a lot of confidence in your machine underneath you. 90 seconds to go as the final few laps will be coming in for some of these drivers, or some already finished their session. Morel is towards the back of the field at the moment. Can she do anything? She's got to do about a tenth and a half to get up in towards 18th place. And as we come up towards the line, is there going to be an improvement? And for now, it looks like it is actually, and that is going to be 13th place.
Solid lap there from Rebecca Morel. We've got 65 seconds left to go of this qualifying session. I think for most people, the session might be winding down for Timo Miller-Kangis, who was penalised in the second race back at Donington after a late race incident. Ended up crossing the line in third position. We did catch up with him after the race. Actually dropped back to 8th place after penalties. I think it was a 5-second post-race time penalty that pushed him down into the 8th position. It's just how close it was to you go from third to 8th and that. So we'll look to make amends from that. Clobbers the opening part of that final chicane at Club. Watch the facial expression. Not sure he's super pleased by it, but he didn't seem too disappointed either. Across the line, 18.937 will improve.
Indeed, up into 8th place. Not so bad at all. As the session comes to the end, here's a slightly updated standings as it wasn't quite correct before. So there's Sam Sanders up in there in 2nd place.
Yes, indeed. Sanders, 69 points, 4 off of the championship lead. Was missing a little bit earlier on in the broadcast, but no, definitely not missing from the championship standings. I think maybe if he was watching, he might be a bit panicked, but alas, no need to. We'll take a look at the starting grid for the opening race of the evening then. For the second time this season, it is Crofton Woodhatch and Hayden Bramley that start on the front row of the grid. Franek Sikorsky with a much improved qualifying up to 3rd. Jaden Sherwood in 4th position with Matt Kendall. The championship leader starting from 5th alongside Jeffrey Decker. Then is Jonathan Smith with Timo Miller-Kangis in 8th position. Sam Sanders down in 9th. The driver who's 2nd in the championship might be disappointed with that qualifying effort. Brandon Loudon down in 10th. Matthew Jordan and Dylan McClement will start from 12th position after an issue in race 1 back in Donington Park. He'll look to try and capitalise on this race, Will McClement. Rebecca Morel, we saw that lap come across the board in 13th position alongside Paige Dofenbaum. Then it's Isaac Gate, then it's Charlie Sowens, Mark Winter and Wan Shi Lin down in 18th position. The final car being Mario Ras in that qualifying session. Of course, there is a couple of drivers behind in Kane Ryder and Jamie Hopper, who will be also taking to the grid. Cameron, Roger, any favourites from this one?
Woodhatch.
Classic Woodhatch. 15 minutes onto the board then. We'll get ourselves ready to go. At the UK's fastest circuit, it is Woodhatch starting from pole position, but can he fend off Hayden Bramley as we begin the run down into the first corner? It's not here where the overtaking opportunity is. It's all the way down in the complex. It was a perfect start from Woodhatch. Sikorsky's going to keep Jaden Sherwood at bay in that fight over 3rd position, but Sherwood now picking up the slipstream of the top 2. The battle for 3rd position is the highest place at the moment because Crofton Woodhatch with his perfect start into the complex will lead from Bramley. Almost contact between 3rd and 4th. I think there is a little bit of brushing as we ride on board with Matt Kendall, the championship leader, seeing them exit the complex, and it is still Sikorsky ahead of Sherwood, ahead of Kendall.
Yeah, that was lovely by Sikorsky there, but actually Kendall's had a terrible run. Jeffrey Decker goes around the outside, coming in towards Noble. That's a lovely move there. Kendall not necessarily making a mistake, just losing the momentum. And here is where we get to the fun part, get to the straight for the first time of asking. Kendall's going to slide it back up the inside, but up towards Church. That's going to be a brave corner.
Yeah, indeed. He's going to look to the inside of Jeffrey Decker, looking for a first top 10 finish of the season, leaving it around the outside, going into Church. Matt Kendall with the inside line. Big slides from a couple of them, including Franek Sikorsky, including Jeffrey Decker. And here through the middle comes Jonathan Smith, and for Sam Sanders as well, 2nd in the championship.
And too wide up towards the front of the race as well. So Bramley gets through. Woodhatch loses that lead and unfortunately goes down to 2nd place. A lot easier to overtake here. Led from start to finish basically at Donington Park. Oh, huge crash at the final corner. Multiple drivers. Jeffrey Decker, who we saw up towards the top 5. And contact continues, but he is going to be out of the race surely.
Yeah, Dylan McClement also involved in all of that. I think Kane Ryder and Mario Ras both came into the pit lane. A very chaotic moment, which we'll take our time to pick through. In all of that, by the way, Jamie Hopper's gone for the rear end of the field all the way up to 13th. Let's see this one once more.
Oh, wow. That is a huge cartwheel from Decker. Unfortunately, I say further drivers involved. Got Ras and Loudon in the pit lane as well. And this is going to be a... Wow, what a flip that is already. And then a secondary bit of contact, breaking the left-hand wheel there as well. That is not what you want to see at the end of the first lap of the first race.
Yeah, like you say, it was Brandon Loudon, the one that was making the contact, or at least Jeffrey Decker and Brandon Loudon that were making the contact there at the front of the field. A little bit chaotic, everyone behind just getting involved. Out wide goes Crofton Woodhatch. Let's see this one on board with Dylan McClements and see if there was any opportunity to avoid. I'm thinking the answer here might not, but might be a solid no, Cam.
Wow, absolutely nothing that he could have done. And yeah, just collateral downtree. Then further contact later on caused a secondary spin as well. And in live pictures, Woodhatch has gone back to third. He went wide coming through Church. Must have had to slow down because he was really slow then on the next straight. And unfortunately, he's lost even further time. So Sherwood is now up into second place and battling for the lead.
Yeah, certainly so. And like you say, dropping back maybe into the clutches of Jonathan Smith is Crofton Woodhatch, but with 1.5 seconds ahead. Again, you're battling, especially when you're one of the drivers that we're focused on here to battle for this this title here in the Formula Fords. Crofton Woodhatch will be well aware to just keep his nose clean, keep out of trouble. We ride on board now with Jaden Sherwood closing up to Hayden Bramley, and Sherwood with that solid gap behind can keep his full attention for the next 11 minutes and 40 seconds, or at least for the next few laps here on Hayden Bramley. Schwitz for 10th position sees Franek Sikorsky re-promoting his way back up into the top 10 after a poor opening couple of laps.
You say that, but Morel got it back past the next corner as they continue to be side by side. What a battle this is, halfway around the lap, and this is going to be brave up the inside of Church. Morel on the outside, Sikorsky on the inside, who went off at this corner just a couple of laps ago, slides wide, pushes Morel off onto the grass, and that's going to allow another driver, Jamie Hopper, to come back through the field, and maybe Wan Chi Lin in the blue machine as well. That just shows how much momentum is a big thing in these cars, and now Sikorsky is going to be losing another place. Hopper gets 2 positions there, and Wan Chi Lin gets through as well.
Jonathan Smith also had a bit of a problem. I think there was an issue between himself and maybe championship leader Matt Kendall. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. I believe there might have been something coming down into that final complex of corners, because he was dropping down past Sam Sanders, past Timi Milakangis, and down into 7th position, and now potentially even into the clutches of this group here, as we've got the side-by-side for Wan Chi Lin and Jamie Hopper. A little bit of a brush between the pair of them, and it is Hopper just about hanging on. Will Paige Dovenbow be able to get the up and under?
Oh, this track is awesome. So Sikorsky loses the place, gets another one, and now Hopper is trying to get Wan Chi Lin. Amazing scenes here as we are halfway through this first race. Bit of contact there as we come towards the club section. But as you see, you saw breaking through that first section. So Jonathan Smith was trying to brake, save the car, do everything at the same time. Managed to collect it up, but he's down into 7th.
Yeah, and like I said, that was Matt Kendall directly behind. There's a spinner as well. A spin in the middle of all of this. It's Paige Dovenbow, who's gone right off the road. And unfortunately at Church, it claims a victim. And Paige Dovenbow, hopefully without any major damage, will be able to continue on in this race. But having lost a whole heap of time. There is Matt Kendall then, 4th position. Podium in both races back in Donington Park. Unlikely to be picking up a podium here in this race. Sam Sanders, the driver he was battling with in that race, number 2, is the driver he's fighting for now for 4th position. Let's see what happened with Paige Dovenbow.
On the grass. I think the rear left tyre just nabbed the grass as it went to turn into the corner. That is not an ideal situation at the fastest corner on the track, and just shows you how one tyre is all it needs to be to lose grip. They really are on the edge of the grip. We got a 3-way bump draft behind Matt Kendall. We've got Sanders and Milakangis trying to push the number 67 up the road as they work their way out of the complex. This is such a tight battle as Summers goes past a couple of drivers. Sikorsky and Hopper have gone off. They must have made contact, both drivers dropping down. They were having a bit of a ding-dong battle we saw earlier, going back and forward, and that's ended up with both of them on the grass.
We're not even halfway through this race, and I'm starting to get the feeling that we're going to have race control, taking a look at a few things post-race. So we'll talk you through a little bit about how that works in a few moments' time. But we can't take our eyes off this thrilling action. Sam Sanders on the back of Matt Kendall. This is a look back at the issue there for Sikorsky.
Yes, it was. So Hopper's one on the left is actually the driver to the right of Sikorsky. We go 3 wide into Nova. That's never going to work. He's 3 wide into that corner, and unfortunately 2 of the drivers there get caught out on that one. So I'm trying to work out who it was. Was it
Jamie Hopper, I think?
No, who's the 3rd driver involved in this? Was it Jordan? Maybe trying to see exactly the red machine that was involved in there. So it was a 3rd car in that one. Unfortunately, has ended up with them in that situation.
I think it's Charlie Summers. Yeah, I think it was Charlie Summers. The third entry into that battle was once again Sam Sanders and Matt Kendall, fourth and fifth. Battle then between Hayden Bramley and Jaden Sherwood back at the front end of the field. Big slides coming in from our race leader as they drift their way out and then down towards the infamous church corner. Will there be an attempt here from Jaden Sherwood? No, absolutely slams it over the curb on the right-hand side. Now out wide they go. Just over halfway through this race, the battle will continue. The reason I said about race control, by the way, is they can impose penalties. If they impose penalties post-race, it can be seconds added onto your race time, as you'd expect, 2, 3, 4, 5. For certain things, they get certain penalties. Now, you also get license points with that. If you get too many license points in a given round, you'll get an exclusion from qualifying in the next race. And if you get too many, like I think it's 4 license points, and you get an exclusion from qualifying. If you get 8, I'm pretty sure you get an exclusion for qualifying and also a race ban. I will double check that though.
Yeah, that's not good, and they will add up very quickly, especially as you could easily get 2 license points for a bad incident. So that you got to be careful with that. You only really have 1 or 2 tries. Tries is the wrong word there. Chances of causing an incident before something bad happens. So Jaden Sherwood, who we're on board with here, he is in 8th position in the standings. His best result was P6 back at Donington Park. So this is going to be easily the best result of the season so far. But will it be first or second with Bramley? He only got a 2nd place back at Donington Park. So he's going for his first win of the season as well. So big impetus for both drivers to win this race. Look at the run that Sherwood got there up towards Church. Can he continue it as we go down in towards the chicane?
Very quickly, I'll just correct myself. If you get 8 license points, it's an exclusion for qualifying, and you have to start the reverse grid race from the rear of the field, regardless of what happens. So even if you did an epic drive to rise your way through into one of those reverse grid positions, you'd still have to drop to the rear. No one has 8 license points, and it's only from that given round, from a single given round. But still, it is an important thing to note that the race stewards are keeping an eye on things, and with how things have gone here, I'm not sure many drivers, not sure every driver will be partaking in qualifying in Snetterton in a couple of weeks' time. Excellent battle, though, for the race lead between Bramley and Sherwood, and still this battle between Kendall, Sanders and Miller Kangas now continues on for 4th, 5th and 6th. Hilariously, all 3 of those rather, were the ones who were battling for victory in race 2 at Donington Park,
which didn't quite end in a good way. Vauche Milikangas getting a penalty from that incident as well in towards the final corner with Sanders. So definitely an interesting a trio finding themselves on the track once again and working their way through Goodwood. Milikangas hasn't been looking quite as aggressive to make a move as he was, but the battle for the lead is getting closer as well. Sherwood, is he waiting for that final lap though to try and make a move, or is this just a situation where he's sat behind the green machine of Bramley for now, and we'll have to find out if he's going to be waiting and be patient or if he wants to be aggressive?
It's kind of one of those ones that I understand waiting until the final lap of the race, but then you only get that one opportunity to get it right, as Sam Sanders now works his way past Matt Kendall and up into 4th position. So progression here for the driver who sits 2nd in the championship. His championship rival sits directly behind him. I think the pair of them will be dropping down well, actually, no, they probably would be remaining 1st and 2nd in the championship, because Crofton Woodhatch, who's in 3rd in this race, is also 3rd in the championship. So I don't think would actually be overtaking either of those. I think it'll be just tightening up between the trio, which, I mean, I know we're early doors in this championship, but I would also, I'd take that one. Do remember again, as much as we've got 4 minutes left to go in this race, and we're already talking about the championship, all drivers will receive 2 drop rounds. So they can effectively miss 2 entire rounds of this championship, and then those are removed from your points tally at the end of the season, the 2 worst rounds. That's not the 2 worst races, that is the 2 worst rounds.
So 4 races, actually. I guess that is actually quite a lot, but it's good because it allows people to have a bit more of a part-time championship. We are racing 8 rounds within 10 weeks, so it's very intense, just a couple of weeks off during the middle course of the season, so that is good, but it does mean you do have the opportunity to have a couple of bad rounds if you show up to every race. Here's Matt Kendall trying to regain that move on Sanders in towards the club chamber. They are keeping it hard left until you hit the brakes. You see how they sort of pitch that car and then hit the brakes all at the same time. A lot of weight transfer going on in that car. You got to keep it under wraps. Kendrick gets a really good run there out of the chicane and up towards the first corner, decides obviously to back out of that one. This is not the place to make the overtake, but his mirrors are going to be full of Milikangas as well. So he's now in that awkward situation of looking forwards and back at the same time.
One thing this is really highlighting, though, to me is the importance of remaining within that slipstream. And I wonder if going into race 2, if drivers will prioritise that rather than battling. There was that bit of side-by-side happening in this group that was on lap 1 or so that allowed the top grouping to pull away. Now, around here especially, you can ill afford to do that because there isn't really much of an opportunity around the circuit where you can really find an awful lot of time. I think if you're half decent around here and you use the slipstream, you can basically keep up with even our very own Hugo Luis bringing us the broadcasting. Even you could do that, Cam, around here.
Yeah, although he was a pretty good driver back in the day.
Pretty good.
As we're finally seeing this move to the inside from Sherwood, as he was sat there for a few laps, but now this is opportunity. He takes the lead with 2 minutes remaining in the race, just a couple of laps to go. He thinks this is the time, though, as he hits the front.
Now, will Crofton Woodhatch be able to close in? Watch that gap between second and third position. There will be 2 laps left to go in this race. The gap is 1.7 as Wanshi Lin goes up into 9th position, getting ahead of Charlie Summers. This is Hayden Bramley that we're riding on board with, staring right at the rear end of Jaden Sherwood. Of course, a front row start to this race would eagerly eye up a race victory. But the more they fight, the more it brings Woodhatch back into it to try and take this race victory away from them. Where are they going to go? We're going to go look for a bit of side-by-side around the back end of the circuit. I'm not sure about that one, Cam.
Yeah, I think it's probably just trying to slow Sherwood down a little bit, but he's all over the back of him, isn't he? This is such a cool battle to see as they work their way back up. This run here up towards Churchwell, you get such a slipstream. He's actually having to lift out of that one and then follows him to the left-hand side of the track as well to get that run. But now it's do it now or do it on the final lap. There's 2 chances to go. He's going to go for it now, I think.
Yeah, but look at the moment that Jaden Sherwood had going through the right-hander at Church. Shaden Bramley potentially a little bit too close here. Looks to the inside. Could he be going for that? It's going to be a very risky one. He is going to full send it here, going down to the final chicane at Club. We've still got a lap to go in this race, and now under a second into the mix comes Crofton Woodhatch,
who's gained a second on that previous lap. That is absolutely unbelievable. More than 1.2 seconds he gained on your leader as the white flag comes out, just showing you how much battling and having solo laps around here is so crucial. And Woodhatch could sneak a victory here. Oh, that is not the way to go for Sherwood. He's slowed him down so much doing that defensive line.
Yeah, you got to make sure, though, you nail Seagrave here to go around the back end of the circuit where the spectators stand on the left-hand side. You can climb up to the top of that mound on the left and look down on the race cars as they fly their way through the left-hander at Noble. Look at how much speed Woodhatch has.
He just needs to position himself well to get the run. The issue is the 2 ahead of him. They're going to be battling for their life as well as we are on to the final lap. So here is the points opportunity to the outside. Woodhatch is going to go. He's going to try and slow down these guys as we come up to Church 3 wide.
He's going to lift off slightly here at Church, allow them to battle amongst themselves. There we go. First one picked off, the up and under for Hayden Bramley. He's going to come through, potentially even for the race lead. Bit of contact there between Crofton Woodhatch and Jaden Sherwood as we head down into the final complex of corners. 3 wide here in the UK Formula Ford 1600s. It's Crofton Woodhatch on the inside. It's Hayden Bramley right around the outside to take over the race lead. The run towards the line is going to see Woodhatch skip over the inside, and Hayden Bramley is going to come out of nowhere to take victory. A superb 3 wide move right around the outside heading into that final chicane.
How has Woodhatch not won that? I thought that was slam dunk down the inside, but Bramley, what a brave move around the outside. He was in 3rd place coming through Church and somehow managed to win that race. What a hard-fought battle at the front, and in the end Woodhatch came out in 3rd as Sherwood just nabbed him to the line.
Yeah, we'll welcome Hayden Bramley back onto the podium. Had a 2nd place back in Donington Park, but now has a race victory. And to be fair, the fact that the top 3 there is separated by 1.7 seconds, I don't think fully does it justice, Cam. That was absolutely mental how close that was.
That was awesome. That is what Thruxton's all about. That is what the Formula Fords are all about. And what a race to open the day. Just shows you. Actually, first, we'll get the reverse grid. Let's see where Bramley's going to be starting from.
Yeah, of course, the reverse grid in the previous round was 8th place, promoted Charlie Summers up onto the pole. This time, is it going to be the 10? Keep going. There we go. The full number. It is 10. I'm sure Hayden Brownley's not going to be particularly pleased by that, but at least a circuit we can go racing at the full reverse then. All 10 positions we'll see on our screen on this first page will be reversed. So Yuan Shi Lin will start from the reverse grid pole a little bit later on. Before though, we'll take a look at the provisional race results. Hayden Bramley then taking victory. Jaden Sherwood and Crofton Woodhatch will catch up with the top 3 in a few moments' time. Sam Sanders, Matthew Jordan, Jonathan Smith, Matt Kendall, Timi Miller-Kangas, Charlie Summers and Yuan Shi Lin will all spin around and set our reverse grid. The bonus point for fastest lap as well going to Crofton Woodhatch on his attempt to charge down on our top 2. Rebecca Morrell in 11th position with Mark Winter there in 12th. Franek Sikorsky in 13th position with Jamie Hopper from the rear of the field up to 14th, but still with a couple of issues in there, including that incident with Sikorsky. Paige Dovenbaum 15th position with Kane Ryder. Dylan McClements in 17th position, and then no points for anyone else because they're all retirements. Isaac Gade, Jeffrey Decker, Brandon Loudon, retirements from this race alongside Mario Rass as well. All retirements in the opening race of the evening. Absolute chaos, and in all of that, a superb victory from Hayden Bramley, who now joins us here in the commentary booth. Hello, welcome. Nice to chat to you for 2 weeks in a row, but this time even better news. First place after that second at Donington Park. What a drive! And what do you make of that final move at the last corner?
I mean, it was very much last ditch. my mindset for this race was just score points because I had a feeling something that happened, like the stuff that happened further down the grid, was going to happen. But I saw the run I had on the other guys, and I was like, might as well just give it a shot. And I almost lost the car, and I saw them, getting sketchy on the inside. Now I was terrified for my life, but I am over the moon that I've made that work.
Well, I've got some good news for you, which is with that victory, you've taken over the championship lead by 10 points over Crofton Woodhatch, which is always a bit of fun. I think it might actually end up being 9, but yeah, regardless, it's still pretty solid just because the fast lap bonus point, I believe, is with Woodhatch. So that's good news. I have, unfortunately, some bad news for you, though, which is the reverse grid number, which I'm terribly sorry. It is 10. It's the full whack. So what's the vibe on that?
There couldn't be a better and there couldn't be a worse circuit for it, I think, because there's loads of drafts, so I'm not too worried about being able to make passes. I'm more worried about the crashing and the losing the drafts, which is going to be, I think, very big part of the next race.
Yeah, it's obviously almost certainly about keeping out of trouble. What are you kind of expecting from it? Because obviously when you were racing around, you didn't see there was quite a significant incident behind that final chicane. Is that the main drama zone? Is that final chicane? Is there not too much around the rest of the circuit?
The rest of it's kind of all one line, and no one wants to go side by side through T5, T4, T6, because that loses you half a second, maybe more, and there goes your draft, and you'll get switched back by the guy behind. And the final chicane is just, it closes in so much, and that's also one line, but it's also the only passing place that you really want to go for. So it very much does lend itself to some big accidents. So I'm just gonna keep my eye out for the guys ahead. Make sure I'm checking for anything bad that's happening and do my best to avoid it. Hopefully, I'm not going to go for a win this race. I'm just going to finish and score points, I think.
Well, best of luck in it. I'm sure we're going to be having quite a show to watch here.
Yeah, same. Thank you.
Hayden Bramley there, race winner here in the UK Formula Ford 1600s, the first race at Thruxton. Next driver to join us in the comedy booth is Jaden Sherwood, of course, for finishing in second position there. Not an easy one to take, though, when you're leading coming down into the final complex of corners at the club chicane. What do you make of that one after what was a pretty thrilling race?
Yeah, I mean, it was really difficult, obviously, like slipstream being so strong. and it being like 3 wide going down heading to the last corner. So it's always going to be difficult, but happy with second place, got good points. It's a long championship, so yeah.
Now, obviously, it's quite a building on what happened back in Donington Park. We know you had good pace there, but still, 9th and 6th take away from there already with a podium to your name here at Thruxton. Is this a circuit which kind of lends itself a little bit more to yourself and your own driving style?
I'm not sure really. I'm not sure why I'm so much faster here than I was at Donington, but it's just the way it goes sometimes. I mean, I did plenty of practice for this one. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with my pace.
Now, you'll be starting race number 2 from 9th position after the top 10 will now be reversed, courtesy of the spinning wheel, dropping some drama on the grid. What are you expecting from that position? Is it, are you going to go full guns blazing in this one and charge your way through it, maybe try and get back-to-back podiums?
Well, I'll see how it goes. I'll just pick them off one by one. Nothing too silly. I mean, like I said, it's such a long season. Yeah, I'm quite excited for it. I'd love overtaking, so it'd be good.
Well, best of luck. Have fun.
Thank you.
Jaden Sherwood then into 2nd position, and now we'll turn our attention to the driver who started this one from pole position, because it's time to chat to Crofton Woodhatch. Once again, we've chatted to Crofton a fair amount over the last year or so, and we get to chat to you once again after a podium. Now, what did you think coming out of Church there after closing up to the top 3, making it 3 wide, looking down the inside, the opportunity was there. What was going through your mind? That must have been wild.
Well, I thought I had it because I felt like I was going to get the run. But then having to go round Jaden, I nearly lost the car on the rear, and I ended up making a little bit of contact with him. But I thought I was going to get the run into the chicane and I'd be able to brake a little bit later and just like park it in there. But Hayden just got a great run on the outside, made it 3 wide, and then I tried to almost back out of it on the inside, but still keep my car there just in case. And it didn't really work out well for me, but I was happy to not drop any more positions, to be honest. 2 slowdowns early on in the race is just not ideal. Made it hard work for myself, but I was glad I was there for the fight at the end.
I was going to say, obviously you had the early dramas in the race with those slowdowns, which kind of pulled you off of the lead battle, but at least thankfully you had the gap to the cars behind, so it must have been a bit of a lonely drive around Thruxton through the middle point of that race, but at least a safe one. Did you have a thought in the middle of the race that you would be able to catch the race leaders if they battle, or was it more just sort of like, if it happens, it happens, if it doesn't, it doesn't?
I mean, they're always going to fight on the last lap. Jaden did it a couple of laps early, which helped me. When I got the second slowdown, I thought, that's pretty much me out of it. But then, yeah, they started fighting. I was doing like PB after PB, catching up to them. So I don't know. It's just, for me, there's so much RNG, I guess, through the chicane with the line that I take, that sometimes you can gain like 3/10 and sometimes you can lose 3/10. So, and you can also get a slowdown really easily. So I'll try and not get any slowdowns in this next race, and hopefully we can fight back through a bit. I'm starting 8th, I think, so same pace as last week, and we'll see.
Yeah, speaking of RNG, like you say, the reverse grid drops you into 8th position with it being the full 10. What are you expecting from that position other than potential chaos from those around you?
Yeah, I saw that everyone sort of disappeared in my mirrors behind, so I'm hoping that I can just stay out of... If that happens again, I'm hoping I can stay out of all of that pretty much. I tried to last week at Snetterton. I was doing a good job, and then I got caught up in something, dropped me back, and then I avoided something else that dropped me back even more. So I'm trying to keep the car clean, trying to just score points. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, I think we got the pace to get back up towards the front, as long as the groups don't form and everyone splits. But we'll see.
Well, best of luck to you, and we'll maybe catch up with you after race 2 if it all goes well.
Thank you.
There we go. Superb. Nice to catch up with our podium finishes there, Cam. And again, a superb trio battle for victory, which is always a lot of fun. We're hoping to have a repeat of that in this race, to be honest.
Absolutely. 3 wide coming in towards the final chicane is always what you want. And again, I just reiterate, I don't know how Woodhatch didn't have that. He had the best line, but that's not how it goes sometimes. And then he got, obviously, going over the grass, slowing down up towards the line, losing another place as well. But 10 being reversed just means we're going to get that threefold coming in towards this race. It's going to be such good fun to see these guys batting. Although, Lewis, we did have a few crashes in that race, of course, so I wouldn't be surprised if we have that again. And if that takes out a championship contender, that, you know, one of the drivers that we saw there towards the front, or even Matt Kendall, who dropped a little bit further down, then that is going to be a big points loss.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is that across this championship, I mean, look, we've commentated on this series now for, this is the 3rd year of it. We've done 2 years of this now, the Formula Fords. It's the 4th year, of course, of British Formula 4. If there's one thing we know, is that at some point during the year, your title contenders are almost certainly going to have an issue. I think the only real one, you know, go back to the first season of the Formula Fords, was Henry Moore, who had, was it 15 consecutive podiums, and had drama in the very last race when the title was already done. So if you can keep that, then that's a great way. That's a great way of doing it.
Have the worst till last. Yeah, the only thing is with the drop rounds, I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few drivers will end up with one of the races tonight being involved in that drop round. There are some other difficult circuits on the calendar, such as Knock Hill, but this is certainly one where things can go wrong very quickly indeed. We saw back at, where was it? It was at Noble, wasn't it? We saw 3 wide with Kendall Hopper, Charlie Summers getting involved as well. So if someone just puts their nose in a little bit to the side, it can very easily cause a crash. And with these cars as well, there's nothing to them. You just hit the rear corner and you're spinning around.
Yeah, a few of the circuits on the calendar, you know, obviously it's different in the Formula Fords how they race versus the Formula 4s, so it is different as to which ones are effectively classified as skill-based, you could say. But there are, the way that I would look at it is there are certain circuits across the season where effectively you're the one fully in control, and then there are other circuits, like for example here at Thruxton, where you're not the deciding factor here. It's everyone around you. It's whether they're setting lap times that are good and you're using the slipstream. Some circuits, when we go to Silverstone, it'll be very much a similar thing, where the slipstream will reign supreme. When we go to places like you mentioned, like your Knock Hills, your Brands Hatch Grand Prix, even Snetterton potentially in a couple of weeks' time. These are all circuits that you have more of a control over than the field, if that makes sense. And so keeping out of trouble around those can sometimes be easier, but then it can lull you into a false sense of security. Basically, you should always be on edge and ready for it.
Certainly, as the sun comes out, so should be full amount of grip out there. 21 degrees, because of course we are simulating the season being in May at this point, not the cold October now, the October evenings that we have in the UK in real life. So we are simulating a bit more of a spring afternoon at 1:45. But yes, I think as you're saying, some tracks being, you know, a little bit more not in your control. I mean, Crofton said that with the chicane here as well, being a bit of, you know, RNG, you know, a bit of randomness coming into that. That is why you see the times being so close as well. When we get to a track where maybe like maybe Zandvoort or something like that, there's a proper Grand Prix track where the better drivers have more corners, they have more chances to gain that 10th here, 10th there. The gaps will, of course, increase.
I don't know, Cam. You're saying about the weather being maybe a little bit inaccurate for this time of year. Obviously, I live near the circuit. Yeah, I'm 20 odd minutes away. It's supposed to be 19 degrees tomorrow. Yeah, we're still almost bumping into the air. It was quite warm when I went out today. Yeah, literally, so please, we need another round of golf, or around here some karting, as I've mentioned to you before. This circuit, most famous, of course, for the only
most famous,
the only circuit that I've actually done the karting track at. I don't do karting very often.
Well, hopefully one day you'll get to it. I'm just looking at on the satellite images, the karting track. It actually looks quite cool. It's got a bridge.
Yeah.
That's got a bridge. I've never actually been to this one. I probably should at some point. Maybe you and me go once the season is over. I don't know.
the next Sunday you make your way down into this neck of the woods. Noted. I'm sure you will as well. Get around golf and get a load of karting in, and then you can do as you wish. Hayden Bramley, by the way, is topping this practice session going into the second race. He's done an 18.681. The reason I'm mentioning that, no reason at all. It's just something to talk about. Just showing that he's again feeling the confidence, feeling the speed around here. Times almost completely irrelevant in this session. Everyone's just getting a feel for the circuit in its new condition.
Indeed, it'll be a little bit different. They do have, it was about 5 minutes or so for the warm-up, for the practice, wasn't it? So they've got plenty of time, being a short track. You can do 3 or 4 laps, and that is enough to feel the grip on the track. But the driver's already having a little bit of a battle. There's Wan Chi Lim and the 26 of Bramley just getting up to speed. Because as soon as you do a lap, you really just know where the grip is compared to where it was before. It's not going to be massively different, but a couple of % of grip here and there do make a big difference.
Well, I will prepare for the deep breath and the speed read of the grid. If you can't keep up with it, I'm sorry, but that's just how the second races go. We don't have long to get through the second grid before they take to the starting grid and we get ourselves rolling. Again, it's the top 10 that have been reversed around, coming from the race 1 results. It's Wan Chi Lin starting from pole position alongside Charlie Summers. Teemu Milikangas in third position with Matt Kendall, the champion, coming into this round in 4th. Jonathan Smith and Matthew Jordan in 6th position. Then it's Sam Sanders in 7th position, Crofton Woodhatch in 8th, Jaden Sherwood in 9th, and the new champion leader Hayden Bramley after his victory starts from 10th. Rebecca Morell and Mark Vinter starts from 12th position. Then it's Frank Sikorsky in 13th, Jamie Hopper, Paige Dopenbow, Kane Ryder, Dylan McClements, Isaac Gade, and the final couple of rows of the grid, it'll be Decker, Loudon and Mario Ras. They're all in position and ready to go, and the second race of the evening will indeed begin as we start that run down into the first corner with a great start, of course, from Wan Chi Lin. Charlie Summers falling straight into the slipstream behind. No major dramas in that top grouping as they all return to single file action relatively quickly. It's Matt Kendall in 4th position that's looking to maybe try and make some progress here on Charlie Summers as they work their way into the complex for the opening time. Sam Sanders, by the way, I do not believe has taken to the race start.
Yeah, it appears he hasn't, and that is going to be big for the championship because he's right up there towards the front. We've got a 5-car battle at the front here. There is Sanders trying to do something, but it's obviously having a few issues. At least if he can get around, he might be able to get some points today. So Lin leads from Summers, Milikangas there in 3rd place, Kendall and Smith in behind, and Woodhatch trying to hold on to their slipstream.
I'm going to correct myself. There was a car missing and it was Sam Sanders from the grid, but I do believe he did grid up. But I'm pretty sure he had some connection issue on the grid. He is out of this race. The rear suspension's been ripped off. He was definitely involved in an incident that I think ended up being just him on the grid because of other cars around him that obviously couldn't see him, potentially drove into him in a potential connection issue on Sanders' side. Either way, the battle for the race lead sees Wan Chi Lin getting or having the overtake attempt come in from Charlie Summers. That one didn't work, and now Matt Kendall is on the charge to maybe come through. Here comes Milikangas though.
Yes, that position was reversed by Kendall, and now Milikangas actually just at a hit check there. Woodhatch follows him off, following the line, and now we're going to get another driver, Smith, coming down the inside. So that was all caused by a side-by-side. Kendall obviously getting squeezed out. Woodhatch is trying to get Kendall now. This is going to be the outside as we work away from the mid part of the complex, and now to the inside of Seagrove. That is such a brave move from Woodhatch to get back up, but Smith is going to be loving that. He's got a couple of places. Now Sherwood as well, following through on Kendall.
Brilliant commitment from Crofton Woodhatch up to 5th position. Remember, obviously, the more positions that you gain early, the less drama you're potentially going to be involved in later on in the race. He's done an excellent job to side his way through from 8th to 5th already. Jonathan Smith now sits ahead of him. The top grouping all sit in one big train. A bit of a gap, though, from Wan Chi Lin back to Teemu Milikangas. Charlie Summers sat directly behind. Ideally, would not be going on the attack immediately. Would try and close down on Wan Chi Lin in this opening phase of the race. A couple of differing lines on the exit of Church as Crofton Woodhatch and Jaden Sherwood having a little bit of a moment. Let's see what happened then. So this is a look back, and then you can see Sam Sanders appear. So almost certainly some form of connection issue.
Yeah, he just appeared. Hopefully the driver involved in that one didn't basically get some damage. It might have actually been Sherwood, to be honest. Is one of the more brighter vehicles we have out there on the circuit. We go back to Jamie Hopper, who's been up towards the front. He's now side by side. McClemon's all over the grass on the outside there of Allard. Gets it back on track, fortunately, but we are 3, almost 4 wide for a moment there, coming in towards the braking zone. There's going to be some contact there. Slide his way through with Kane Ryder.
Yeah, Kane Ryder was getting a very aggressive there to try and get to the inside. We're right on board with Jamie Hopper. Dylan McClemon's picking up a couple of positions. Timmy Miller-Kangis taking over the race lead, though, and there's 3 wide up ahead as we run our way around Noble, then into Goodwood. Almost contact, though, between the top 2 is Timmy Miller-Kangis getting very aggressive here with Wan Shi Lin. Charlie Summers into the mix as well. There's been battling between Jaden Sherwood and Crofton Woodhatch, which has dropped that group right off the top trio.
And this is what we saw in that first race. If these 3 don't battle, that is going to be a 3-car breakaway at the front. Here is Charlie Summers in the red machine trying to get the run on both of these drivers. Lynn goes to the inside for Miller-Kangis. That is for the race lead. Summers backing out of this one a little bit up in towards Club. So Lynn has the lead now as that is reversed. He had that earlier this lap, but Miller-Kangis in second place. Summers in third, but now in behind. Look at this gaggle of cars. This is going to be pretty crazy as Woodhatch is dropping down.
Yeah, Woodhatch has just taken over 5th position and then has dropped back once again. It might have actually been 4th for him, but now he's dropped down into 7th. He's only a position away from returning to his starting spot in 8th. But it really is 8 cars sort of involved in this battle for the race lead. Realistically, it's the top 3 separated from the 5 behind. But realistically speaking, there is the slipstream that's being dished out. They are effectively one big train if they don't fight too hard. Frank Sikorsky, who we ride on board with, I was saying, you know, being that top group, obviously do have Matt Kendall directly behind as well. So realistically, 9 for the race lead? Yeah, around here, why not?
Why not indeed? As Sikorsky trying to think about making a move up the inside into Goodwood. A quite good overtaking opportunity actually, because you generally run a little bit more wide than that, but not enough this time around. Thinking about it up towards Church, should learn better after his escapades in this corner in that first race, losing basically his race by running wide at this corner. They continue on further down. The top 3 are breaking away once more. Miller-Kangis in the white car, trying to get to the inside of Club. He should have that one done, but Lynn is going to be thinking about going around the outside. But really, that is a last lap move like we saw from Bramley in the first race. And behind Sherwood and Smith going side by side. Sherwood up into 4th.
Liking this driving, though, from Charlie Summers. Not so much liking the driving here a little bit further back between Matt Kendall and Franek Sikorsky. Kendall getting squeezed off a little bit on the exit of the chicane. Now looking for the up and under as we leave Allard down towards the complex at Campbell and Cobb. Can he make the move? No, he cannot. So Kendall will remain behind. He's going to look to the outside. Very aggressive line on the inside there from Franek Sikorsky. Makes me raise an eyebrow. That was touring car level smashing over that curve.
I mean, it is a good touring car circuit, but we're not in touring cars. They are very much open wheels in these Formula Fords as well. There is nothing around there, just a couple of bits of metal for some control arms. It's very crazy. We're 3 wide, working our way through Goodwood, just in front of Kendall, as Woodhatch tries to hold on to that one. We're still 3 wide, up towards Church. That surely can't work. We've got Woodhatch on the inside, got Brownlee next to him, and then Jonathan Smith. Oh, contact is made. Jonathan Smith goes cartwheeling off into the grass. Brownlee follows him through, your winner from race 1.
Yeah, and I think Woodhatch also has damage in that one. Just an awkward bit of 3 wide there. It worked in race 1 for Hayden Bramley. It did not work in this one, though, and unfortunately he is fuming after that, and you can understand it. A very difficult moment there for Hayden Bramley, who sees himself out of the race. The lead here then sees Jaden Sherwood join the top 3. Timmy Miller-Kangis, Charlie Summers and Wan Shi Lin now have Jaden Sherwood to worry about in this 4-way fight for the race lead. Crofton Woodhatch has dropped back into 7th position. Meanwhile, Franek Sikorsky and Matt Kendall fight over 5th and 6th. Crofton Woodhatch back in that fight, though.
I'm loving Sherwood in this race. 9th place, reverse grid, works his way up nicely. He then bridged the gap to these top 3. Lynn has now lost a little bit. Actually, we have to be careful he doesn't lose the slipstream. Now he's got the confidence. He's up into 2nd place, but now he's in this top battle. He's not really going to be able to put away. Let's get another look at this. Smith is on the outside of a 3-wide situation. We've got Woodhatch and then Brownlee, just the tiniest bit of contact, but look at this barrel roll. I'm not even going to count the amount of times he's going to go up and down here. This has got to be at least 10 times he went over. Fortunately going on all 4s, but I think definitely out of the race after that one.
But what score are you giving it?
Oh, that is, I mean, that's a 9-point sign out of 10.
You reckon? Yeah, it's up there. Landed on all fours afterwards, so at least there is that. As Jaden Sherwood then, he said in the interview that he's pretty happy about getting on the overtakes. He's proven that here as we look further back to seeing some of this drama, which has Matt Kendall in the middle. Whoa, what are you rating that one out of 10? Rebecca Morel straight up into the air.
These guys need to calm down a little bit. We've still got 6.5 minutes to go in this race, but every bit of track they are battling for, and it is great to see Matt Kendall losing out massively there, losing to 2, 3, 4 spaces with 2 by 2 almost coming in towards the complex. Woodhatch and Sikorsky go side by side. Seagrave now the outside. That's a difficult place to be, but Woodhatch just about goes into there when that is going to slow down Sikorsky on the exit. So McClemens comes up the inside. These guys do not stop battling, as McClemens now round the outside is going to have to hold on to it because of the inside for the next corner.
Yeah, not on as quiet race this one for Croft and Woodhatch, who had basically a little world of his own in race number 1. Seeming though that might be turning into a bit of a theme as Franek Sikorsky out wide as they go through Goodwood, now down towards Church, losing a few positions in all of that, but still keeping on the road. Matthew Jordan now ahead of him, Jeffrey Decker, Dylan McClemens and Crofton Woodhatch. Still 6 minutes left to go in this race. Plenty of time for the positions to switch round positively and negatively for sure. Jaden Sherwood is your race leader for Millikanga, Summers and Lynn. We'll say the last person that I commentated that on called Sherwood was a guy called Jack Sherwood in GB4 and GB3. Guy was absolutely rapid at overtaking. Of course, he did take part in British Formula 4. Here's the flip from Rebecca Morel. Now, is that getting more or less points? I think less points, doesn't land on all fours.
Yeah, unfortunately, always got to be on all fours. But unfortunately, that is going to be a 4 out of 10 for the finishing position on that one. Not much she could do, unfortunately, and that is going to be out of the race. So we have 6 drivers now. No, well, I guess 7 actually, if you can count Morel, who isn't officially out of the race, but 7 drivers having some big problems in this race. So what we've ended up with is a 4-car battle at the front. They've got, unfortunately, 5 seconds to Croft and Woodhatch. So it really is 4 cars for the podium now. But the battling behind is a big train, including Hopper here in 10th place, who's just over a second off 5th. But as you can see, there's 5 cars in front of him.
Yeah, again, it is a tight battle, this one. And there's already been a few small incidents in this group, and there out wide might well be another one. Here comes the open opportunity for Isaac Gade and for Jamie Hopper, sorry, for Dylan McClemens and Jamie Hopper to come through, and Isaac Gade has gone out wide. Matt Kendall has also come through now. Jamie Hopper's going on the attack of Dylan McClemens. They go back into single file as they flick their way through the right, then left, then right again. And Jamie Hopper with a whopping moment keeps that throttle pinned though, as you kind of have to in this car. There goes Matt Kendall though, straight through and into 9th.
Indeed, it's so tight, the racing around here, isn't it? Has come up towards the complex for another time. No re-overtaking attempt just yet from Hopper, but I'm sure it will come at some point. Sikorsky gets through and Woodhatch further up the road. They swap positions at that corner last lap, and now Sikorsky in the green machine retakes that position. That is currently for 5th place, as it's getting very close once more as Wanchi Lin in that 3rd place, trying to slide through Millikanga. Summers now is in 4th, but unfortunately not able to do so.
The thrilling fight over which drivers are going to be interviewed by me. To be fair, if I knew that, I'd be finishing in 4th in a heartbeat. But regardless, they definitely want the podium. They want the points that goes with it. Defensive line comes in from Jaden Sherwood. Team Millikanga having that podium ripped away by race control in the previous round, of course, at Donington Park. Now with the inside line for Jaden Sherwood to hold over the race. The thing is, he's building confidence at holding on to the race lead here is Sherwood. He's doing a brilliant job of it.
Always McClemens goes down, loses 2 places. Jordan Sikorsky go through. So it just shows you make one small mistake and you can easily lose a couple of places. Now got Kendall over the back of him, because that is such a big battle of cars from 5th place down to even P13 there, just a couple of seconds. And they are crucial points, I said, in the championship, because you need to allow a couple of dead races over the course of the season for your drop rounds. You can't have just a dodgy, if you're going for the championship, you can't have a dodgy P11, P12 in there when all the drivers are doing all of the races. Here is Sikorsky now. We are looking at him. He's into 7th place, so Jordan has got him. Sikorsky was up into 5th at this corner on the previous lap, but now lose 2 places. What a track this is.
Yeah, it is very impressive and a whole lot of fun as Sikorsky staring at the rear end of Matthew Jordan. The lead battle, though, on the top of your screen between Sherwood and Milakangis. When they cross the line, they will have 2 further laps around this Thruxton circuit to see who is going to be victorious, whether it will be between Sherwood and Milakangis. Whoa, as there's a bit of contact that sees Matthew Jordan off the road after that contact between himself and Frank Sikorsky at one of the fastest points in British motorsport.
These guys don't seem to learn, but they are race drivers and they always go for every little gap that they see out there. So Jordan Gade having a bit of a side-by-side, come down in towards the club chicane as well on the tower, but we see Milakangis leading the way. Sherwood thinks about getting that overtake back towards the front, but not this time around. A minute and a half remains, so 2 laps to go, including this one. You see just a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of a slow moment, and then Sikorsky not lifting up and just tagging the back of him.
Yeah, indeed, just awkward, so very awkward through there. It's completely messing up the order a little bit further down, but with 65 seconds left to go, we're seeing a lot of very good driving at the front, including a bit of a slide there, and the opportunity being open for Jaden Sherwood to come through. It's Sherwood, Milakangis, Lynn and Summers, all separated by not just less than a second, not less than 3/4, less than a quarter of a second at the moment as we head into Church. Wanshi Lynn getting very aggressive down the inside of Milakangis.
I thought he wasn't going to leave space on the outside there, but in the end he did. Charlie Summers trying to get involved, trying to go 3 wide down the inside after watching the tape of the final lap last time around. Round the outside, Milakangis goes, tries to go for the race lead. Sherwood is holding that line on the inside, so we stay in formation and to come on to the final lap. 20 seconds to go, and any of these 4 could win.
I'm not ruling it out, Cam. I reckon Croft and Woodhatch might have a chance at a podium here if these all battle like this up towards the line. We're on to the final lap of the race. It's Sherwood, Milakangis, Lynn and Summers, the top 4. Move to the inside there in the background. Sees third position go the way of Charlie Summers. Defensive line from Jaden Sherwood into the complex. We'll see him leaving it as the leader, but then the big slipstream gains begin as we head our way around the back end of the circuit into Church before preparing for the final chicane at Club. Let's see if there's going to be any switches for position round here. Milakangis thinks absolutely yes, I'm going for it. And to be fair, I can understand if Sherwood just drops back in line and says, I'll do you into the final chicane then.
I still don't know. Is it better to be leading coming towards the club chicane? We saw the leader not winning into the club chicane in the final in the previous race. Being Bramley coming around the outside in 3rd. So let's see what is going to happen. Charlie Summers is in that crucial 3rd position up towards Church Corner for the final time. They stay flat through here and they get the run. Who is going to win? Milakangis leads.
Absolutely pinned now. Charlie Summers into the mix. Slipstream being picked off here from Jaden Sherwood. He's going to go to the left-hand side. The braking zone for Club. Waits for the 4 of them as Sherwood heads in. Milakangis alongside. Sherwood straight around the outside to take over the race lead of the final chicane. Brilliant driving. Contact between 3rd and 4th. But it is Jaden Sherwood to come through the final corner to take victory. It's a 2nd and a 1st here at Thruxton for Jaden Sherwood, who rises up the order from 9th to take a superb victory. Milakangis and Lynn will join him on the podium, but what a drive. Said he likes to get his elbows out, and that was exactly it.
Yeah, what a win. What a win. He should be proud of that one. Around the outside, both races tonight being won with a move around the outside, and that one to top it off from Jaden Sherwood. Just timed it to perfection and had the he left him loads of space as well. It wasn't a dirty move, it was a clean move and got himself to the apex of the 2nd apex of that chicane in 1st position, and from that point you can't re-overtake. So what a move there from the number 2.
Yeah, timed it perfectly and played the cards absolutely brilliantly. Here is the provisional results from the race. It's Jaden Sherwood then victorious by a 10th of a second from Team Milakangis. Wanshi Lynn and Charlie Summers separated by half a second, but dropping off about a 1.5 seconds from our race lead up towards the line. They finished in 3rd and 4th. Croft and Woodhatch would cross the line in 5th position, making a solid evening with a 3rd and a 5th. Dylan McClements then will set the fastest lap, gain a bonus point for it, and would end up finishing in 6th position with Franek Sikorsky in 7th. Matt Kendall, Jamie Hopper and Matthew Jordan will be the top 10 across the line. Of course, on the second page, it's Brandon Loudon, Isaac Gage, Paige Doffenbaum, Maria Rass and Rebecca Morel were still able to get to the line after a flip, which is very impressive. Clearly, these cars are built tough. The final drivers behind them, though, are all retirements. Jeffrey Decker, Jonathan Smith, Hayden Bramley, Kane Ryder, Mark Winter, as well as Sam Sanders on the opening lap due to that connection thing, which I'm sure he'll be bitterly disappointed in. But we know that he's got the speed to go on the attack for some solid results as the season unfolds. Might have to just mark this one down as the potential drop score. We'll await for our top drivers to join the interview booth, and we'll catch up with them accordingly. In fact, I think first off we can catch up with second place Timu Milakangis, who of course we did catch up with in the previous round of the championship at Donington Park. Timu, hello, welcome. Superb drive to second position, but obviously overtaken there into the final chicane. What do you make of that race? The positives to go with it. It's another good points haul.
Yeah. Of course, second place is good, but shame that couldn't keep the P1 there. But yeah, the chicane it's really tricky, and I just didn't want to do any contact with Jaden there, so I played it a bit safe, but. Yeah, it was a fun race. All race long. Race 1 didn't go that well, but this one was fun. And another good points to go with from here.
Yeah, you went obviously 8th place in race number 1, which is still all right. But like you say, you want to be fighting towards the front. You've proven that a couple of times now. Obviously, had the podium taken away in race 2 at Donington. What was your mindset then coming into this round after that drama? Was we had the drama in race 2 at Donington. You coming into this round, fresh mindset, eagerly awaiting some great racing.
I mean, the preparation was not that good. I have been a bit sick since the last weekend, so the preparation was not that good. So I just thought that if I can get some points from here, that would be good. And well, I can be happy with this result.
Well, Timmy, then rest easy, feel better, and we'll see you back on the circuit in Snetterton in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, guys.
Timu Milakangis then into second position. He's now joined the interview room, so we can actually catch up with Jaden Sherwood, our race winner. You said you wanted to get a little bit aggressive. You said you were pretty happy with the overtakes, and you really showed that one. What an epic move into that final game. What an epic battle as well with the race leads. What do you make of that one from your perspective? A double podium here at Thruxton.
I'm so happy with the points, honestly. I knew going into the last corner I had a nice overlap. And it was just time to get brave around the outside, and that's exactly what I did, and it worked out. So yeah, couldn't really ask for a much better race day than that.
Obviously, it is a long season, but to have got a double podium on there, it promotes you up to second in the championship. You're now 4 points off of Crofton Woodhatch, who is now the championship leader, leaving Thruxton. Obviously, so much time left to go in the season. Any other circuits where we're likely to see a double podium from you like this? Because, we'll have to wait and see.
Hopefully all of them, but we'll just see how it goes. Like you said, it's a long season, so I'm not going to do nothing too silly. But it should be good.
Well, congratulations on a very well-deserved victory. You must be over the moon. And again, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time at Snetterton.
Thank you.
There we go. Jaden Sherwood onto the podium. Final driver to catch up with is Wan Shilin. Of course, finished that race in third position. Now, a great drive from you in that one to third, but of course a tough battle through that final chicane. What did you make of the battle between yourself and Charlie Summers there?
And that was really a tough call. I mean, obviously everyone wants to get a podium position to be at the interview. I think on the entry, I could be more to the left. He could be more near the apex. We collided first, and then into the third apex of the chicane, I think I was on throttle a little bit too early and pushed him into a slowdown. So I'm not sure if that will be a penalty for me. I hope not. My apology to Charlie. Could have lifted a little bit more.
Well, that's in the hands of the race stewards, and they'll deal with it as such. You can only do what you can do, and you've put on a solid result here this evening. Again, building on Donington Park, where what was it, 12th and 17th, they're 10th and 3rd. Big improvement this round. Is that what you're kind of feeling in the car, or is it more just like you had some bad luck at Donington, or you found more speed?
It's tough to call with the field being so close. I'm usually not very strong in qualifying, and that resulted me starting a little bit further back in the field. And when you're a little bit further back in the field, you kind of get into some accidents or incidents, and that just drop you down the order. I mean, same thing happened again today. I think there was a wind direction change compared to from practice to qualifying. And in qualifying, I just couldn't figure it out. It was the second to last corner, the flat-out right-hander. I was understeering through it every single lap, but I got really lucky in race 1 to first get through the field, and the second to happen to start on the reverse grid pole for race 2. It's just, sometimes it's better be lucky than good.
Yeah, that's generally my motto, but that's normally because I'm not very good, so I only have to rely on the luck when driving. Great drive, though, from you. Well-deserved podium, and hopefully we're catching up with you at Snetterton.
Yeah, hopefully. Snetterton, although contrary to popular opinion, is actually one of my favorite track in the top 10 list, let's say. So hope that I have another good result there.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for you. Cheers.
Thank you.
And there we go, Cam Wanchi-Lin onto the podium then. 3rd position, superb drive and a great podium to catch up with in that race. But it's time for us to get prepared. British Formula 4 awaits us. Round 2 of the season is about ready to get underway. And so we're ready to go then for the Thruxton circuit round here, round number 2 of the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. A new circuit for us this season. It is going to be a very tricky test. And if anything's to go by from the Formula Fords, we're going to have a lot of racing this evening. Myself, Lewis McGlade, Cameron Roger in the booth, ready to take you through 2 thrilling races and 1 excellent qualifying, I am absolutely sure. Cam, your thoughts after an excellent Donington Park, as we'll see the schedule here.
Yes, what a way to start the season as well. We saw just the traits that Henry Moore might be having another hot season, as he has in the last couple, first and Formula Fords, and of course a season battling for the championship last year. But now with Graham Carroll not on the grid, he's got an open opportunity, but it's only been 2 races. Let's see how it goes.
Indeed, we've got 2 more races to go this evening, of course, and then we'll have plenty more afterwards. We've got 2 20-minute races ahead of us. Before that, though, we've got the lone qualifying, which is just about to get underway. That second race, of course, being the reverse grid, which can be between 5 and 15 here. Here are the prizes for them to deal with. Of course, the prize pool there, the cash prize pool being for the top 3 teams, 2,500 for the winning team, and then 1,500 and $1,000 for second and third. But then, of course, those prizes that they have to deal with, the base performance simulator prize for the top 3 teams, getting 1 full day on the single-seater simulator, which, again, I know a few proper drivers that do GB3, GB4, British F4, they all take part on those kind of simulators. So a big prize there indeed. Again, also the Wera Tools British Formula 4 Championship Hospitality. They get 4 tickets that they receive for a round of their choice, which there's plenty to choose from next season. Again, the pole position award presented by Base Performance Simulators. We'll see who's going to become our BPS pole sitter. And again, you can see the prizes there that they win courtesy of doing so. The championship leader is Henry Moore after an excellent opening round of the championship. And of course, Matt Caruana then after his victory will be in second position in the standings. Danny Moreno up there as well. Great podium from him in race 2 as TC Esports were potentially the surprise event of last round. Leo Brown, Pablo Espez up there, Augustin Torlashi up there. Shoma Shintani, of course, the Williams Sim Racing Academy driver. Of course, the driver promoted up courtesy of finishing second position last season in the UK Formula Ford 1600 and has won the prize to take part in a fully funded seat here in British Formula 4 Esports. The team's championship, though, it'll be Team Bennick that will be leading the championship coming into this one. Of course, that excellent victory from Henry Moore last round and end up being a double podium after some post-race investigations. First in the standings, TC Esports, though, the big shock of the round, up there in second. The high most setups by EMM, of course, the race-winning car, courtesy of Matt Caruana. Drive Lounge Racing, effectively the sister team of Team Bennick, also up there as well before we get the two Williams Sim Racing teams. One of those with two cars, one of them with just a single one, courtesy of Shoma Shintani. A great grid of cars. Of course, the runners-up last year, the Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team, with a change of driver lineup a bit further down the order in the team's standings. 7 minutes left to go in this qualifying session, and again, they only get 4 laps. They have a circuit open to just them.
Indeed, and it's pretty crazy how in even such a short circuit, well, I guess it's long in terms of the distance, but in terms of the lack of braking zones and whatnot, we're still about 10 seconds faster than the Formula Ford, such as the extra power. And of course, downforce that we have with actually having some wings on this car. But let's see how close we're going to get into this qualifying session. It's a little bit separated so far, but let's wait until the fast laps come in on the second and third attempt, as we're seeing Conor Mia currently second place, Dan Moreno leading the way, but yeah, some big gaps on this opening parts. And one of the talking points actually from the previous round, Lewis, as well, is the amount of penalties that we saw. So there was 19 incidents in that opening round. It's pretty crazy.
Honestly, I thought you were going to start saying the biggest talking point from that round was Conor Muir's exposed brickwork in the background.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, had a great talking point about that in race 2 last round. Danny Moreno currently tops the qualifying session as Conor Muir, who sits second in this session, will cross the line, but I think going a little bit too hard through that final chicane. Leo Brown goes up into third. There is, of course, 2 exclusions from qualifying, 2 drivers that will not be able to participate in this qualifying session. Ryan McAuliffe is the first one, and of course the second one is Alex Strabel. So a couple of drivers missing as Gogo Bowley is having a big drive up a hill.
That's funny. Wrong orientation on. Sorry, I can't go over that. That's a good one. As the number 13, well, you know, unlucky for some, unlucky setting his camera rotation this time around. In that 7th place, of course, has to lead that Ferrari team now as he works his way through. Having said that, though, Riley, it's just 1,000th of a second off, so maybe not so much this season. As he works his way in towards the final corner, less than 5 minutes to go, up towards the line. Can he do an improvement to himself? It's going to be just the tiniest improvement, but stays in the same place.
Certainly so. Missing, like I say, a few drivers from our list there. So I was going to say, I almost thought Henry Moore was missing for a second, only because he wasn't on pole position or at least on the front row. But no, he's actually finding himself in 5th position as we're getting used to the grid. Here's Will Chadwick, who got involved in a few incidents the previous round, whilst his teammate was able to sneak his way through into victory. Did notice that Matt Caruana was quite a bit further down the qualifying session, yet to get a good time properly onto the board. Connor Jupp goes up the order into what is now 11th position. Will Chadwick goes up into 3rd. Shoma Shintani across the line now in the Williams Sim Racing Academy team to begin another lap. So that's a 1:10.3.
I'm surprised at how separated these laps are right now. Danny Moreno, 3/10 up towards the front. The next 3/10 covers everyone else on that tower, down to 13th place. So that is pretty insane. He must have sent it over one of the chicanes and gained loads of time, like we heard Crofton Woodhatch saying in the interviews last time. It's a bit of a random in terms of if you catch the exact right line. We'll have to find out what we can do in the next couple laps. Still 3.5 minutes to go as Leo Brown works his way up. Henry Moore jumps up into 2nd place.
And that will be Henry Moore's last lap time in this session. He's completed his allotment of 4. Leo Brown about to set his 4th lap time. He's gone slow, fast, as he tries to improve on the time and goes up to the front row of the grid. Superb lap time from Leo Brown then to move up into 2nd position. Kieran Harding across the line. Jonathan Riley across the line. 6th and 8th position. We drop back to Will Murdoch. Matt Caruana onto the timesheets finally. Up to 3rd position.
Yeah, this is looking great. So close between these drivers now as the extra lap times come in. Still, what a lap from Danny Moreno, continuing the good form from back at Donington Park. Will Murdoch now up towards the final chicane. He's 6/10 off at this moment in time. Needs to find some improvement if he wants to obviously get up there with how close these lap times are. He's down in 14th place, in towards the final chicane, sends it over the curbs. A little bit of slide there on the rear, but gets it all in a straight line as we come up towards the line. Tries to cut the line a little bit, does improve a few little bits, so it's just going to be 12th place in the end, but unfortunately no further.
Yeah, I can tell you our junior will be a massive fan of him in the BS Turner shirt. Giles Genet, next one to cross the line. We'll actually have another lap time to go after this one. This is just the 3rd lap complete for Genet. Kirkapau will also complete a 3rd lap behind. Genet goes up into 13th position. And then Kirkapau, who is the next car behind, is on a final lap of this qualifying session. Let's see Genet through the complex then. Takes the curb on the right. How much is the curb on the left? Apps slams it perfect. Stuff up to the final corner to depart that part of the circuit of the complex going through Seagrave, and now this pinned part around the back end of the circuit. I mean, this is just so insanely fast, so fast not even the camera can hold on.
Into 6th gear, turning through Goodwood. This is going to be insane stuff. The amount of slipstream that we've got still in 6th gear, and it's just going to keep on going all the way up towards the final club chicane. This is why I'm surprised at how spread out some of these lap times are. There's just so little place to lose a game time apart from these chicanes, and they are taking way more curb than I was expecting in these downforce cars. And up towards club, sending it in there, sliding his way through up towards the line. That is too much though, over the grass, and that lap's gone.
Yeah, certainly so. So it comes down then to Rupe Kirkapau, who'll be the next one behind, see if there's going to be any improvement. He pops onto your screen, appears across the line, and sets a 1:10, goes into 14th position. I believe that's the last time of this qualifying session. So, Danny Moreno once again continues to show that TC Esports mean business in this championship. The only problem for him is where's his teammate, Cameron Roger? Augustin Tolashi down in 19th position.
Yes, 7/10 off. That is a long way, as there's the picture of Danny as he looks very casual once again, looking very calm despite having that pole position. What I would love to see that as well. What a lap we just saw there. That is pretty incredible to have that sort of gap. But of course, we've got some of the big names up towards the front in the likes of Caruana, Moore, etc. So Leo Brown. So we definitely are expecting a big battle up towards the front. And that on board that we saw, Lewis, as well, the amount of slipstream that we're going to get, I don't know if you even want to be leading this race.
Well, Danny Moreno will lead from the front for TC Esports. Heard some of his interviews in the last round. Shout out to Jack Keithley, one of his teammates elsewhere. Happy birthday for today. Leo Brown will be in 2nd position alongside him on the front row. Matt Caruana then in 3rd with Henry Moore in 4th. Connor Muir in 5th position with Will Chadwick. Good qualifying from the Jaime Sales by EMM team then. Kieran Harding in 7th position with Remy Gilbert starting from 8th position with Jonathan Riley, Will Redford and Gergo Bowdy, Will Murdoch then starting in the top 12. Giles Genet, we saw that lap time across the board, 13th position for him. Rope Kirkapau will finish that qualifying session in 14th. Stanley Deslanders in 15th, with Connor Jupp in 16th for the Alpine Sim Racing team, just ahead of Pablo Espes in 17th and Jai Fletcher in 18th. Augustin Tolashi, TC Esports teammate of pole sitter, will start from 19th position with Corey Aline there, 20th position there. Pedro Silva, Olivia Hayward, Lucas Herman and Joel Hull, the top 24. Mia Rose for the Rocks Red Bull Sim Racing Esports team from 25th position with Izzy Matthews for Prismatic in 26th. Shomi Shintani just 27th position with Charles Wimbley from 28th. Diana Perez and Noel Osbaldson will finish that qualifying in 30th position. Then we've got Archie Heron, Beckham Jasir and Ryan McAuliffe will start at the rear of the field. Matt Emery is a rogue choice for this. He's not actually taking part. He just fancied to get a real close view of the grid. There are 33 cars on this. Matt Emery is not one of them.
certainly not, just pressing the wrong buttons. But this is going to be a great opening race for the British Formula 4 Esports. So much slipstream, so much action. Let's hope all 33 cars can get through the first lap.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. They put themselves in position. We've got about 20 seconds, and what that means is we've got enough time to ask Cameron Rogers the big question. Who's coming out on top? Fire away.
Shintani from the back, why not?
A serious one, please, Cameron.
Cheddars from P6.
That's a fair one. That's a fair one. I'm going to go Caruana from P3. We'll have to wait and see if Caruana can go back-to-back. We've got 20 minutes onto the board. We've got Danny Moreno, who certainly knows how to win races, starting from the front. Leo Brown alongside. Then Caruana, then more. The lights are on, the lights are out, and we're racing for the first time this evening in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. And the run, the short run down to the first corner begins. Obviously, they all jump back into single file before preparing for the complex, where we go right, then left, then right again. To the outside comes Matt Caruana, trying to take over second position, trying to take over the race lead from Danny Moreno. He leaves it alongside as we prepare ourselves for Seagrave with a run around the back end of the circuit, but Danny Moreno's going to hang on to the race lead. Leo Brown's dropped down to third position as Matt Caruana's taken over second, but there might be another switch here, Cam.
There certainly might be. Chadwick is going side by side with Muir as well. He's got that one done for 5th place, but for second, further contact in the background. Side by side we go around Goodwood. Matt Caruana's hanging it around Leo Brown, who's now trying to get up into second place himself. He says he's got the inside line. We're off into the grass, but we're still side by side for second, and this is the important point of the lap up towards Church Corner, all over the curb, I should say, up the inside, but it's still side by side.
Henry Moore's now joining the fight, of course, as he'll look for an opportunity here to try and make it 3 wide. Doesn't go for it. Will Chadwick's going to send his way through and into the mix. The Hymo setups car over the curb there and sending it through to the race lead. Matt Caruana comes through. There's contact with Chadwick and he's out of the race. He's into the barrier. He's been pushed off and pushed into the barrier. There's broken suspension on the front left of that car. Will he be able to continue in the race? I'm not sure it's going to be for anything.
Wow, easy as that. The tiniest bits of contact and your race is done in a second. As he just hits the barrier at the wrong angle, takes off that front left corner. I'm surprised it's still actually going in a straight line for the amount of contact. We've had a bit of an issue though, down in towards the complex. Harding's gone down, Murdoch's gone down, and there's a huge gaggle of cars here. There's about 10 cars on screen.
Yeah, we like saying we've got Harding in the middle of it. You've got Redford Murdoch, you've got Gergo Bowdy in the Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team. You've got Remy Gilbert, I believe, in the middle, just ahead of all that. Conor Muir is the head of this group. We ride on board with Jupp, of course, for the Alpine Sim Racing team. Squeezed onto the grass there a little bit was Murdoch, who's getting dropped down behind Gergo Bowdy. Now we go through Church onto this final stretch down into the club chicane. This might end in tears.
Oh, we are 4 wide. We are 4 wide as we come down in towards the club chicane, as Jupp tries to go down the inside of about 3 people there as he's trying to make some moves. So unfortunately Murdoch is pushed out. Further contact is being made. That's going to be Baldy out to the left-hand side of the track. We are 4 wide once more, coming down the front straight to Janae. Corey Lane gets involved as well through the first corner. There's further contact as Murdoch is not having a good half a lap.
How did Connor Jupp get through the middle of all of that, though? I don't understand. That was incredible driving. Just slotted the gap, picked the pieces and went through. Big move, though, to the inside there as Will Murdoch will go around the outside of Charles Genet, who was going full send down the inside. Pablo Espez having a bit of a problem, I think, might have a slowdown here as he's going to drop down the order past Will Murdoch, past Gilles Genet. And Pablo Espez might even lose another couple of positions here. Certainly a slow exit from Seagrave.
Oh my word, this race just doesn't stop as we've got further cars off onto the grass as well. So Genet and Espez, they swap positions, and now we're also trying to get Baldy follow through up towards Church Corner. So this is going to give the opportunity for a lane, because unfortunately the 180 Genet is going to drop down with his momentum once more, but he has got the slipstream on that left-hand side as we work our way up towards the final braking zone of the lap, and it's going to be a big send up the inside potentially for a lane. No, does keep it calm, keeps it in check as we work our way through to start another lap, and there is absolutely no rest around this circuit.
Yeah, Redbeard Kirkapau also involved in this fight on the rear. To be fair, as is the rest of the grid behind him. Let's not worry too much about that. But Kirkapau, who is trying to get involved to go and assist his teammate Connor Jupp, who's worked his way through the order. Also, you got Pedro Silva on a return to the debut to the championship this season. Of course, Iggy Smith not out for action in the Aston Martin Aramco Aston Martin team. There's a spin then for Riley on the opening lap. Unfortunately, sending him right the way down the order. Some of the drama that you spotted.
Yeah, I think that was DeSlanders on his inside because both of those are out of the race, along with Olivia Hayward. Yes, it was.
Goodness.
And there was a black machine there as well. Couldn't exactly see who that was, but further driver involved. Here's Wimbley, the number 3, going for a bit of a pirouette, managing to keep that in a straight line. But unfortunately, out the back of the grid, 14 seconds off the lead, and further contact is going to be made here. That is just, yeah. Oh, sorry, that was the start of it, I should say. So that was just 4 cars trying to find some space on the track that's about 4 cars wide.
Yeah, a bit messy, and the messiness continues. Oh, that rocked Red Bull car, I'm not sure it's going to stay on there, and there's the spin for Osbaldeston.
I think Olivia Hayward might have been involved in that one as well. So she is out of the race. It's so funny seeing cars go side by side. Oh, that's how Hull got a tag from the back on the Red Bull cars. It might be Mia Rose who's dropped down as well. And it just keeps on going. Here is Hayward. That is how she went off at the final corner there. Big send. Lost the rear wing, lost the rear wheel.
Yeah, to see obviously Joel Hull there having a difficult start to his second season, getting absolutely smashed there was Hayward, and into the barrier, of course, a driver who's got a fair amount of experience here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. Either way, we'll take a deep breath, head back up towards the front and realise, oh, look, it's going quite well for Team Bennett right now. Henry Moore, Remy Gilbert, obviously those two teammates there in second and third position, the team's championship leaders running in that second and third. They've got Leo Brown involved in the mix. And one thing that we noted from last round at Donington Park, whilst Leo Brown, ex-Guild racing driver as is Remy Gilbert and Henry Moore, as much as they're all a part effectively of the same stable, if Brown gets an opportunity to go for a move, he's going for it. They're pretty open to overtaking in that camp.
Yeah, we certainly saw that final lap move, attempt at least, on Henry Moore, but not able for Brown to complete that move. As here's Espes, had the inside there, but has to back out of that one to Connor Muir, who obviously started a little bit higher than this, but down to 8th place. The unfortunate part is, because of all this batting, they've lost some big gaps. So Matt Carawan is on his own, over a second off Leo Brown. Then another couple of seconds back, we have Harding, who's leading this battle. So this is going to be obviously tough, or basically impossible for them to catch up unless the top guys start battling, because we are just flat out basically all the way around this track. It's all about the slipstream, keeping that slipstream, and you'll stay in the battles. Here's Espes trying to think about a move. They all move to the inside there to block off that move into Church. That's Muir and Refford basically blocking that one off.
Yeah, Pablo Espes, of course, that excellent podium at the previous round of the championship at Donington Park. New teammate from this round. Obviously, last round it was Robin Glerham. This time it is Beckham Jasir as he looks for an opportunity to try and find his way down the inside and make a move on the likes of Harding and Muir and Refford, and then skips over the inside after he gets squeezed off just a touch by Kieran Harding there. He's going to drop backwards just a touch into the mix, and a bit of a move from Gogo Bowdy, now trying to send his way down the inside of Will Murdoch, the BS competition driver.
Yeah, this 2x2 we go. This just doesn't stop around this circuit. 2x2. Bowdy makes another move there up the inside of Harding. That is very opportunistic and follows jump through. So now Murdoch being pushed back once more, and Conor Muir can only watch on as he loses further places in this race. I mean, that's another 4 lost in the last lap or so. Really not how he would have wanted this race to go. A big send up the inside there for Murdoch. Not quite enough room, but that is a good overtaking opportunity if you can do it. As we're sliding in the background as well. So these guys not getting comfortable in this race just yet.
Yeah, so a couple of big slides coming in around this part of the circuit, and we now then head into Church. This could be the opportunity for that Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team, the bright red, to try and go for a move. Gogo Bowdy trying to get past the white and black and sort of blue Alpine Sim Racing team car there of Connor Jupp. The side-by-side sees Will Murdoch get past Kieran Harding as well. So 10th position now for the BS competition driver as we ride on board with Connor Muir, the Aston Martin Aramco Sim Racing driver. You can see the Drive Lounge car ahead of Kieran Harding and Will Murdoch as well. Where is the opportunity going to come for a potential move? They're dropping off the group ahead of them though. That's the problem, and there's contact there.
Yeah, Harding's pushed off the circuit there, tried to turn right, but the car would only go left, and that is going to be basically race done, because even he gets going. Look at all the cars that have got past him. That's such a big shame as they continue fighting up ahead. We're trying to sort of work our way forward. This is Kirkabau in 16th place. He's got Ryan McAuliffe actually just in front of him. He's trying to make a good recovery in the 71 machine as there he goes, slides up the inside. So this is 1 by 1. We are getting there, but still a very difficult situation. Beckham Jasir, P13, but fastest lap, just showing you how the slipstream works all the way back in the pack.
Yeah, of course, Beckham just here did not take part in the previous round of the championship at Donington Park. So obviously welcoming into this season of the championship. Now going side by side is Corioline and Shoma Shintani, the Williams Sim Racing Academy car, into the mix as well with a bit of a look there. Ryan McAuliffe from the back end of the field. From the back end of the field up to 13th. My goodness, McAuliffe's flying after having to start from the rear of this field.
Yeah, what a track to do so as well. We heard this in the previous interview in the Formula Fords. It's kind of a good track and a bad track for coming back, as there's a huge send. There wasn't really space there for McAuliffe trying to make that move on Jasir, but he is actually going to do a good job to get Jasir offline and might be able to get the run with some momentum now coming up towards Noble, trying to get his car to the outside. This is a favourite move for quite a few drivers today, to then hold it for the inside for Goodwood, but not quite, as Jasir hugely chops that one off on the inside, but McAuliffe keeps his foot in it.
Yeah, I did see Ryan McAuliffe, of course, racing in yesterday's Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Great Britain around this circuit, taking victory in that as well. And so he knows how to get things done around this circuit and is proving that once again as we're seeing the switches behind. You've got BS competition there, you've got Alpine Sim Racing in there, you've got Williams in there, you've got Aston Martin just off the back of it, as well as the Aztec car that we're looking at. You'll see McAuliffe just trying to hang on. They work their way through with the advantage, switching back to the likes of Beckham Jasir.
So he does go side by side down this front straight. And this is pretty crazy how these guys just keep on battling. It never stops at this track. Herman trying to hold that one on for the inside line down in towards the complex. Can he try and make it stick? Not quite this time around. Has to back out of that one, as this is Sanina coming through the complex, out now, back onto the, you're basically flat out now, almost, all the way up towards the club chicane. Got to keep that momentum going, just small lifts for these corners as he's down in P17, but look at the train of cars up ahead. There's so many opportunities to jump up, maybe even to the top 10 if things happen ahead.
Yeah, of course, it reads as Pedro Silva on the timing tower on the left-hand side, the second of the Aston Martin Aramco drivers, along with Conor Muir out in action this evening as we return our way back to the front of the field with less than half of the race left to go. Danny Moreno continues to lead, 8 minutes and 10 seconds left to go. And a fight that the likes of Matt Caruana will be well aware of from the previous years of racing in this championship. Obviously, it was all the Apex bunch for the first couple of seasons. It was the Guild bunch that were battling for the championship along with the Scuderia Ferrari duo last season. And now Danny Moreno will be staring for TC Esports, the charge of Team Bennick and Drive Lounge, the sister teams, all in action, second, third and fourth. They have a great understanding as to how things unfold here in this championship. And Henry Moore, who sits in second again, is the championship leader. And it's the second season that he's led the championship at some point, but this time it's right from the start.
And let's see if that one is to continue on, because he really lost the championship with a couple of rounds to go last year's. Here's Leo Brown in fourth position, working their way up towards the final chicane. A little bit of a lift off there this time. Looking in the mirrors, they do have 3.5 seconds back to Matt Caruana, who got lost earlier on in the race. It is just this top four battle working their way through. We've got 7 minutes to go in this race. There's still plenty of laps to go, and with it being just 1 minute 10 per lap around here. Shintani gets into the top 10 ahead of Will Murdoch. McAuliffe with the fastest lap from the back of the grid. Those two drivers are having good comebacks.
Yeah, I do wonder with a few of these drivers that I know are taking part in the F4 Esports Global here on iRacing, which starts, I believe, at the end of this month. There are a few drivers that I know are participating in that as well as this. Henry Moore is one of them. And so you've got to think for some of these drivers, if you can take points off of Henry Moore now, he might not have quite the focus later on in the season with his attempts to race in that championship as well. Yes, sure, it's the same car, but it's a very different, very different style of circuits they'll be visiting than what we have here in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. So just one of those curious things to think about if you're not one of those drivers participating, but you are on this field battling for the title. Here comes Henry Moore, though, to try and get past Danny Moreno. He'll look to the inside, coming down into the final chicane at Club. And with 6 minutes left to go, there is going to be a switch for the race lead. Can Remy Gilbert, the teammate of Henry Moore, follow his way through? Cannot. Danny Moreno shuts that door. Now the up and under potentially coming in for Leo Brown.
Gilbert doing the team job there, helping Moore get through. Unfortunately, has put himself under attack from his sister teammate of Leo Brown now for that 4th position. So Moreno really is under threat here. Almost 3v1 situation. He's got no one to help him at this moment in the race. So, and to be honest, no one is actually coming to help him either. He's got to do it all on his own and try and hold on to this podium place. Let's see how this one works out. He's looking to, he's looking in a good place. The issue is he's got 2 direct teammates, sounding him at this moment in time, so they can really work together in terms of the slipstream games.
Indeed. I do like how this race has, relatively speaking, calmed down from some of the early drama that we had in this race. Do suspect we're going to get some early drama in race number 2, which is why I'm sure a lot of these drivers will be praying that number is 5 and not 15. But the spinny wheel will have its words in just under 5 minutes' time as Danny Moreno for TC Esports will try and find his way back to the outside, looking for a victory for TC Esports in just their 3rd race of the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. The drivers around him, Henry Moore, plenty of race victories to his name, 5 in total. Remy Gilbert, plenty of victories to his name. Leo Brown, a couple of victories to his name as well. Danny Moreno in the middle of it has just 2 races to his name in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. Now tries to slot his way through the middle as the open opportunity for Team Bennett to make this a 1-2 as they go 3-1 through the complex.
No way have they all got through that one. Oh my word. Leo Brown trying to get involved as well now. So this is crazy stuff. So Henry Moore on the outside of the complex in the end was able to hold on to that one. Leo Brown trying to squeeze his way through Remy Gilbert with 2x2 as we work our way through Goodwood. The lead is surely going to be Danny Moreno's as he has the inside line as we work our way up towards Church. Henry Moore tried to hold on, but the racing line was sufficient there.
Excellent battling, and it's superb to watch as Danny Moreno is using all of his sim racing experience, of which he has plenty, especially in open wheelers, to try and keep this lot at bay. It's Moreno from Moore, from Brown, from Gilbert. We ride on board with Leo Brown for Drive Lounge Racing. Round the outside comes Henry Moore to take over the race lead. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the race. I believe with the times they're doing, it's most certainly 3 laps of racing around the Thruxton circuit left to go in the opening race of the evening for the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. A look to the inside of the opening quarter at Allard sees Leo Brown try and get through on Danny Moreno and up in a 2nd position.
Remy Gilbert would have been thinking that he's going to lead the race a lap ago. Now he's down into 4th place. That is pretty crazy scenes. Matt Caruana, I'll tell you what, it's getting a little bit close. So this is going to be a 5-car battle on the final lap. That is for sure with these guys battling on. They can't let Henry Moore get away, though. That is the important factor. Now that there's a little bit of a gap there, Moreno needs to stay in that slipstream. I think he should be okay. Yeah, they've seemingly caught back up in half a lap. That just shows you how important slipstream is. But if they lose that gap to Henry Moore, that would be game, set, and match. But this is anything but done.
Yeah, looking at the battling that's happening, it's kind of very similar to almost Croft and Woodhatch from the previous race in the UK Formula 4 1600s, the support series to this, where Caruana's taken on that role where he's closing up because of the intense battling that's happening between that group with 2 laps left to go. Here comes a look once more. Danny Moreno slots himself back in a 2nd position. Leo Brown ahead of Remy Gilbert, and here comes the line. Matt Caruana with the run through the final corner to pick off Remy Gilbert for the first time of asking.
And do not count Caruana out of winning this race. He won the previous race, the reverse grid at Donington Park. He's in general, one of the fastest drivers in this car, in this field. And now he's got the confidence as he's back into the battle. So let's see. 5 cars, just 3 spaces on the podium. The top 2 have a little bit of a breakaway, though. Hopefully the slipstream is enough this lap around, because if they lose that, then that is going to be very difficult to battle for the win now.
0.8 of a second between Danny Moreno, the TC Esports driver, and Leo Brown for Drive Lounge Racing. Matt Caruana now knocking at the door as they run around the back end of the circuit out of Goodwood and then down towards Church. The slipstream in full effect now as that trio behind tries to catch the duo ahead. We're on the penultimate lap of the race, the opening race of the evening, as they work their way down this final stretch into Club. Switch behind sees Leo Brown and Matt Caruana go side by side. Switch ahead though sees Danny Moreno up into the race lead once more. They remain side by side in the background though for 3rd position. Bit of a hip check there from Matt Caruana. Door open. Remy Gilbert pounces.
3 wide as we hit the final lap. This is absolutely amazing. Top 2 have got away, but who is going to be the final step on the podium all the way around the outside? 3 wide in towards the complex, as we're seeing Remy Gilbert hold on to that one. Caron holds second place, and then Leo Brown is in 5th. This is certainly going to be exciting stuff as we work away around the final tour.
Yeah, indeed. Ignore the checkered flag. It's being prepared because it'll be dropping out this lap. We'll be seeing that one coming out and preparing itself for Danny Moreno, our race leader. Then it's Henry Moore, Remy Gilbert, Matt Caruana and Leo Brown running first through 4th position, but the gap has made it a 2-horse race for the race victory. Here comes the outside look. Henry Moore trying to steal away for a second victory of the season. Yet another one in British Formula 4 Esports. He carries the speed off of Church. He drags himself side by side with Danny Moreno, ripping the victory away from TC Esports, who has Danny Moreno down the inside into that final complex at Church. There's contact between the two. A bit of a brush. They go side by side through the final chicane. Moore backs out, and then cutting across the inside of the final complex is Danny Moreno. A drag race to the line that will see Henry Moore just about on top. No, it's Danny Moreno. A tight drag race up towards the line with the top 5 separated by 0.3 of a second. Danny Moreno has stolen it right at the last. They must have both had a slowdown after that, Cam, but Moreno is on top. Henry Moore drops down to 3rd.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out what's going on. Either Moreno had a slowdown, or he was trying to give the place back to Henry Moore, but then Moore also slowed down, and Gilbert got him. So this was a bit of contact, a little bit naughty, to be honest. So was this? It must have been.
They both had slowdowns.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, must have been. So Moore goes ahead, but he had to slow down himself. And here comes Gilbert through the middle, and almost Caruana nicking it as well. That is crazy scenes there, and just shows you how tight this race is going to be. Oh my God, Henry
There
Moore
wasn't contact.
saving it though. Either way.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was. There was certainly space between them. I think it was just a bit of a rear lock there from Moore. Managed to catch it. Look at this across the line. Absolutely incredible. And Danny Moreno takes the first victory for TC Esports across the line. And like I said, 0.3 of a second separates 1st through 5th. Absolutely incredible scenes here at Thruxton. We do have a second race, though, to think of later on this evening. And that second race is a reverse grid race, which means it requires the spinny wheel. Numbers 5 through 15 to decide where is being reversed. And I think the top lot might be getting their wish. Not quite. 11th place. Could be bad. Could be worse. Could be an awful lot better, though. So 11 cars will be reversed out of our 33-car field. And Danny Moreno will have to suffer with starting in 11th place. Let's take a look at the provisional race results. It's Moreno, Gilbert, Moore, Caruana and Brown, the top 5 across the line by less than half a second. Gogo Bowley in 6th position. Superb performance for him in the Scuderia Ferrari HB Esports team with Will Redford, then Pablo Espes, Connor Jupp and Shoma Shintani. Pablo Espes does set the fastest lap of the race. Ryan McAuliffe from the rear of the field up to 11th. Epic drive. Beckham Jasiran has returned to the championship. 12th place, Corioline, and then Rope Kirkapau, and of course Noah Osbaldeston, and it's Archie Heron, Charles Wimbley, Lucas Herman, and of course Pedro Silva and Diana Perez finishing in 20th position. One final car on the lead lap being Izzy Matthews in 21st position. Giles Genet finished 1 lap down, and then potential retirements even for the rest of the field. At least 3 laps down for Will Murdoch, and the rest definitely retirements. Augustin Torlaschi for TC Esports scoring no points, but his teammate is victorious. Connor Muir, Jonathan Riley, Kieran Harding, Jai Fletcher, Mia Rose, Joel Hole, and other drivers behind in Will Chadwick, Stanley Deslanis, Olivia Hayward, and the cameo of Matt Emery, who did not take the race start because he's not participating in this race, but still would love to be on the sheets regardless. So, speaking of those epic results, speaking of those epic drives, it's time to speak to those epic drivers that round out the podium. Danny Moreno will be the first of the 3 that we catch up with, and it was an emotional podium from you back at the previous round of the championship. A superb drive from you and the team. This one, though, a proper drag race to the line, little bit of brakes. What happened through that final chicane? Was there a slowdown for the pair of you, and what's going through your head after that epic victory?
Well, first of all, good evening. Yeah, it was a great race. That last sector, yeah, it was crazy. I think there was a bit of netcode between myself and Henry, because I think he lost a little bit the car, and I think it was a little bit of, you know, netcode contact on side by side. And yeah, I had a slowdown, obviously, because we both went really deep into the corner. So I obviously had to slow down and let Henry through. But I think he also had a slowdown, so he also had to let me through again. And yeah, that gave us our first win.
Yeah, 5th, 2nd and 1st. A very impressive start to what is a generally pretty chaotic championship. That leaves you actually in 2nd position in the championship, which is obviously great. Now that we've been improving 3 races in a row, what's next? Are you going to just take a streak of victories from now on?
Obviously, that's going to be really tough. Henry, Remy, they are all crazy drivers. Matt, they are all super fast. So obviously, I'm hoping I can be in the top 5 consistently, because as you said, it's a really hard championship, and I think consistency is the key. Because if I finish first and then finish 20th, then obviously there's no point. So yeah, hopefully we can stay up there and fight for more races.
Now, obviously, I have to be the bearer of bad news here, which is that the reverse grid number, it could be worse. It could be 15. It's not 15, don't worry. It is 11. So pretty much right in the middle of where it could be. Around here, though, you can make up some moves. What are you thinking about that, and what will be your approach for the second race?
Well, to be honest, I don't know my approach to this second race. Probably it's gonna be take it easy, try to not get any damage at the start, which is gonna be quite probable, and yeah, try to make some overtakes if I can, and hopefully get the best result possible.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you, Danny. Epic drive and an epic first victory in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship.
Thank you very much.
There you go, Danny Moreno onto the top step of the podium. He'll be joined by the Team Bennett duo, though, that has Remy Gilbert as the first of the 2 drivers. Remy, bit of a drag race there to the line. You stole second away from your teammate after what was a chaotic last lap. 5 cars separated by 0.3 of a second. Classic British Formula 4 Esports action. What do you make of that run?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive hack all the way through. You have to be so careful over the curb in the last corner. I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried driving the Knockhill chicane. This one's 10 times worse. I mean, it is, yeah, pretty bad. But I'm honestly not too sure how I've come out with second there, starting last and out 5th. But yeah, pretty chaotic.
Obviously, yeah, you've got to be fully committed over that chicane, and potentially both your teammate in Henry Moore and Danny Moreno maybe a little bit too aggressive over that chicane when they were battling over that final lap. But I guess is that quite an easy thing to do, to exceed track limits there and then get that slowdown penalty like those 2 did? And do you have to be aware of other drivers doing that so that you can pick up the pieces when they do it, and also potentially not get involved in their issues over that chicane?
Yeah, I mean, going side by side is almost always going to end in disaster. So I guess if you're behind, you got to just sit back and go for the exit and hope something happens in front. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just pot luck whether you get the right bounce and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very tricky.
Last round, of course, you actually finished the race in 2nd position. You got dropped down, though, into 7th after post-race penalties. How did you clear that from your mind and focus on a solid race here?
Kind of just ignored anything that happened last round. This is a new round, I guess. So clear head. I mean, didn't quite work out in quali in I think it was like P8, but yeah, not too bad. We come back for the race to finish 2nd. So. I'm all right. I'm happy.
A solid start to the evening, nonetheless. We'll catch up with you maybe a little bit later on tonight, if not later on in the season.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much.
And there we go. There's Remy Gilbert off from 2nd position. Then a driver who was battling for the race lead all the way through. Still comes out, though, with another podium. 3 consecutive podiums for Henry Moore to start out the season. Maybe not the podium position you were thinking of, though, heading into the final one. Henry, you're joining us here in the comms booth. What do you make of that one?
Interesting, I think. But yeah, honestly, really good fun. All 5 of us at the front. I think Matt closed up on us at the bit at the end there. Thought we played it really well as a team, you know, kind of held Danny back a bit. But yeah, just, I don't know what it was. In the last lap, I just felt a massive snap under braking. Might have been netcode, I haven't watched it, but yeah, I'll have to watch it back. But I thought I had it into that last chicane, to be honest.
I can see you're already driving, already preparing for the second race. What are you learning whilst being behind the wheel at the moment? Is it just catching a feel, or are you just trying to show off?
No, not show off. No, it's more just adjusting to the conditions. Race 2 is usually a lot hotter than race 1 in this championship, so yeah, just got to adjust to the hotter track and get a feel for it.
Well, we'll let you focus. You'll be starting from 9th position. Best of luck from there.
Thank you, guys.
There we go, Henry Moore, straight back out onto the circuit. Classic Henry Moore moment there. Just straight back onto it. Why not? Get all the laps you can.
Well, of course, I mean, it's not like they've practiced enough, I'm sure, in the week leading up to this one. Although your point actually during the race about the the global championship, that's going to obviously take time and distraction away more so than the the style of racing. Let's say it's more so just more things to focus on, less time to practice. But for now, this is the only thing they're going to focus on. And Henry Moore is the only driver to now have podiums in every race so far. And there's also 7 drivers, including Shoma Shintani, the academy driver, who've got 100% in the top 10. So that is doing a good job. He obviously came from the back, basically, up into 10th place.
Yeah, like I say, there was obviously Dana Moore, who did last season, did the opening couple of rounds to the Apex Racing Academy team, then departed quite early in the championship to focus on the IndyCar Esports Championship that we have here on iRacing. Now, the thing is with that's a wildly different car. I guess one advantage with the Formula 4 Esports Cup is the same car. Very different circuits and a different grid, sure, but it's the same car, so maybe won't take too much focus away from the likes of Henry Moore, the drivers that will be doing it, where they can probably balance both.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think excuse me, I think it's just one of those things where it's how your mindset is coming into the week. It's like, okay, well, I need a couple of days or a couple of hours to practice here and then practice there. Because right now, if you've got nothing else really going on, I mean, you're doing hundreds of laps of practice. But, if you're one of the top guys, I mean, I know they'll underplay the amount of practice that they actually do. But, I mean, they'll be doing hundreds of laps, especially here with being such a short circuit. You do a couple of hours, that's easy going to be close to 100 laps unless you're crashing every lap. So they definitely know what they are doing in that regard. And hopefully we have a good season because of that. But for me, back to the days when I was, driving, not necessarily to this level, but you got to have a clear head. You got to have a clear mind. You got to know what you're doing. And that's why I like Remy said in that interview there, how he just came into this brand new round, put a line underneath it and get going again. Because if you have anything going on up there, you lose a 10th, you lose a little bit of your braking consistency, and then of course incidents happen.
You mentioned you're driving at any level, and I'm sure within moments, Felix Van Delft will send me a GIF of you driving at Spa in a prototype straight into a gantry of all things. Why that was on the circuit, I've got absolutely no idea. Hilarious GIF, though. Let's talk about the championship. Of course, only 3 rounds in. A reminder, as much as there are drop scores in the Formula Fords, there are no drop scores in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. It is what it is. If you have to miss a round, tough. As things stand, Danny Moreno did mention he's second in the championship to Henry Moore. 3 points behind Cam. Absolutely incredibly tight between those two. I know we've only had 3 races, but still, it's one of those ones to keep an eye on as the season goes on.
Absolutely, and there's 6 points between first and second, and there's a further point for a fastest lap. So that 3 points can change around very, very quickly indeed. And it's even only 18 points back to third place, Matt Caruana. So, and then what's that? About 40 drivers covering the 40 points covering the top 5 or 6. So it's so close up towards the front, but especially that 3-point gap from Moreno. He's doing good. And as you say, TC Esports coming into this championship, they're certainly coming out swinging. Although Tolashi obviously dropping down, he's now 10th place after a 24th place finish that time around. Didn't quite match the highs of Donington.
Yeah, certainly not. And for the team's championship, it'll be 38 points between Team Bennick and TC Esports. Of course, after that victory for TC Esports. I mean, let's think about that for a second. Obviously, it's such a big moment for the team. We've got 2 minutes to think about that for TC Esports, that team that's been growing so much in sim racing. The fact they've come into this round in second in the championship, and it would be so easy to have that first round of the championship and then come in here and almost to a relative time disappoint by even just being a more midfield team. The fact that they've come into it and Danny Moreno is still a proper front runner, and it's a well-earned position, just shows again that TC Esports do mean business here.
Oh, they absolutely do. And I think that's going to be a championship that comes down to the wire if Tuolashi can get further involved. The issue with Bennett there for the teams, and obviously the teams is where the prize money comes into it as well, top 3. I think Team Bennett probably will have the edge. Just looking up and down the driver standings here, I mean, obviously Caruana looks to be good for high mode, but Chadders is probably one of the most unlucky fast drivers there is in sim racing. And then also for Drive Lounge as well, just struggling a bit there with Harding not having the races that he would have wanted to start the season. So it looks like it is going to be Bennett versus TC Esports, but I would have to see, because if Henry Moore keeps on winning and keep on being up towards the front, podiums every race so far, then that is going to be a difficult one to overcome.
Certainly so. We'll see straight back out there onto the circuit. The circuit conditions, 32 degrees Celsius. The circuit, so ambient being 20 degrees. Absolutely fine. We got teased a little bit right at the start of the evening that there might be some potential rain. Bit disappointed, maybe? Nah, to be fair, this circuit creates enough drama. We don't need rain around here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if rain would improve things like it might do on some other circuits. Obviously improving in terms of the entertainment side of things, but no, this track is pretty crazy. And just seeing some of these onboards, Lewis, the fact that we're basically flat out from the exit of the complex up towards the club chicane, I mean, you're talking like 2 kilometers plus of just flat out. There's some kinks, there's some curves, but it's all about the race strategy and the drafting around it.
Yeah, exactly. And I say it's thrilling to see. I do absolutely love Thruxton from a spectator point of view. I will tell you though, couldn't stand it as a driver. Not a fan when it comes to driving around here, but it's still always an entertaining race. Now, I've got 33 cars to get through in a minute, so again, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourself, as once this grid pops up, I'm going to be speeding my way through it. Ryan McAuliffe will be starting from reverse grid pole-off, starting from the rear at the start of the evening. Seamus Shintani alongside Connor Jupp, then Pablo Espes, Will Redford, and Gergo Bowdy in 6th position. The cars behind that are as follows: Leo Brown, Caruana, Moore, Gilbert, Moreno. Those are the 11 that were reversed. Beckham Jasir will start from 12th position. Aline Kirkapau as Balderston, then Heron, Wimbley, and Herman in 18th position. Pedro Silva and Diana Perez round out the top 20 with Izzy Matthews, Giles Genet, Will Murdoch, and Augustin Tuolashi in 24th, retirements from the previous race. Connor Muir in 25th with Jonathan Riley in 26th. Then Harding, Fletcher, Rose, and Hull, the top 30. 3 more cars behind that, which would be Chadwick, Deslanis, and Haywood. But we are ready for racing for the second time this evening. We begin our race down into the first corner with a perfect start from Ryan McAuliffe, who might well be the favourite to take victory in this race. Such an experienced driver, but can he steal that victory away? Shomi Shintani in 2nd position, Connor Jupp as well following as they work their way down into the complex for the opening time this race. Any overtaking opportunities between the top group? No, there is not, but there is side by side behind as Gergo Bowdy's trying to muscle his way through and now has the door opened up behind him, I think, by Matt Caruana.
Absolutely, 2 Team Bennett cars going side by side. That's not what Team Boss was really wanting to see, as they still go side by side further. I mean, this is for P9 or so, but we know how these boys love to fight. Shintani holding on to 2nd place as well, as he's up there with one of his sister teammates. And that is off to the road for Gergo Baldy. A couple of drivers following him behind. He's lost a lot of momentum. It looks like the Drive Lounge car there, Brown, is going to get past him.
Yeah, indeed. Gergo Bowdy dropping down the order into 8th position at present. Henry Moore, the next one to try and pierce his way through, the driver that was assisting his championship rival last season. Meanwhile, we head further up the order. We've got a couple of Williams drivers. One of them the Williams Sim Racing Academy, the other one the Williams Sim Racing proper. There's a big crash down the back end of the circuit. Sees a couple of drivers off and into the barrier. One of those fierce competition cars well out of the race. I think that wasn't Murdoch, it was his teammate.
Yeah, so Lucas Herman, I think Wimbley, the number 3 car, was the one involved. I mean, we've got to see how that one started. There was definitely some contact before they got off the track there, as we're seeing some side-by-side. It's so close with Redford there trying to make the move. Espes being dropped out of the way after looking to be battling up into 2nd place a little bit early on. Of course, Matt Caruana sliding his way through, as well as now we're getting Leo Brown on the back of this battle for Redford.
Yeah, Redford trying to go for that move, spotting what's happening up ahead. Matt Caruana getting his elbows out, trying to find his way through at the moment. Looks down the inside of Pablo Espes as they work their way around the back end of the circuit. Nearly contact between the two, drops back into the slipstream, finds the gap beautifully. Meanwhile, Redford's got Leo Brown straight down the inside, pushing him out as they go through Church Corner. Ryan McAuliffe's got not a big lead at the front because Shomi Shintani's in tow, but all of this lot that fight massively over fourth position are allowing the top three to check away. There's Caruana down the inside, straight around the outside though. Will Redford with a big send for G2. He makes a bit of contact with Espes, who rejoins the circuit, almost off into the barrier there was Leo Brown, but manages to rejoin without clipping it.
Oh my word, this is getting crazy already. We're only on the second lap, 3 wide. We go through the first corner and up in towards the next break. So we've got Henry Moore there with the orange nose trying to find his way through down the inside and in towards the complex. He's got his teammate going side by side in the background. There's also seen Gergo Baldy. Further contact is made as Boulderstone is going to go off onto the grass, and it's the tiniest bit of contact just ruins the race around here.
Yeah, Scorpio Esports not having a particularly good evening here as Boulderstone showing some good speed in that race, working his way up the order, but unfortunately being sent right the way down to the back. Let's see on the replay as to what happened here with Wimbley, with, of course, the likes further down of Lucas Herman, with Pedro Silva as well. My goodness, try and piece your way through that. It seemed as though Herman was absolutely sent there.
Yeah, I mean, that's too much to understand from just one little clip. Here's Oz Boulderstone getting contact there, and that is how he dropped down the way as well, not the race, I should say, for that Team Scorpios. In towards the final club chicane. Further contact is going to be made. Espes cannot get a break through that corner, and he's dropping down 2 laps in a row. Big contact there, and in the background, I think one's Prismatic Cars has gone off as well.
The TC Esports as well. Augustin Torlashi almost certainly involved in that one, so not having a particularly good evening. One side of the TC Esports camp having a fantastic night, the other one not having a particularly good one, and Augustin Torlashi sent off and into the barrier in more chaos in that final chicane. It certainly is causing the drama. Nowhere else on the circuit's really causing major drama. Here's Torlashi. There was already a crash happening on the right-hand side as well as he was going through. That's crazy.
Oh my word, it was actually Jonathan Riley and Connor Muir. They're the 3 cars you see on the screen there. So no, it was not the Prismatic cars I first thought. Then there's a 64 just sliding in front. That's Connor Muir. Then further contact. I mean, there's a separate crash that sent him into that. So these guys just go for every move, don't they? So that's actually 33, Leo Brown. Obviously dropping down the way. That is big for the championship because that's a lot of points. He's down in 26th place. He was obviously fighting for the podium previous time around, and this time that is going to be, unfortunately, race done.
Yeah, big shame. A few bits of drama happening there. Like you say, a lot of drivers being thrown up and down the order. Back up towards the front for Williams Sim Racing. They do have an opportunity to be victorious here, but it is in the hands of Shomi Shintani. Beckham just here, though, not a billion miles away from the top grouping, because I did just see a slowdown penalty for Charles Genet. So I think it might be some damage for Charles Genet, actually. Certainly come through the final corner. So basically passing off all of the work to his teammate here, Ryan McAuliffe, to try and take victory for the Aztec team. At the moment is holding firm at the front of the field.
And look at that, Jay Fletcher, 15 places in 13th place. That is absolutely incredible after the first couple of laps of action, the first 5 minutes of the race, and really involved in this battle that goes all the way up to about Redford as well. So that is a good job from him as he tries to get inside the top 10. Still plenty of racing to go though, and you see just how on the limits these cars are. And yes, it is Will Redford there trying to hold on. He's got Danny Moreno trying to come back from the reverse grid place, trying to chase down the likes of Caruana, who's already up into 4th.
Caruana's having a cracking start to the race, as is Beckham, just here up 4 and up to 7 between the two of them. Meanwhile, Henry Moore up to 6th. I think it's a pretty solid drive thus far. This is back up to the front. Ryan McAuliffe, Shomi Shintani, but a jump as well. Matt Caruana's looming large in the background, and I don't think he will, I think he'll be rubbing his hands together as Shomi Shintani takes over the race lead. I think there is the opportunity for a victory for him if he can maybe find that extra little bit of speed, catch his way up and use his experience here in the championship to win.
Certainly does. McAuliffe slides his way through. Can he take the race lead? Around the outside is going to have to be on Shomi Shintani, as Connor Jupp is just waiting for the opportunity. Both of the two in front slow themselves down though as they try and find some track position. To the outside, Jupp goes on the number 35. He's going to have to hold on to it. Loads of downforce in these cars, so Shintani shouldn't slide wide, and that is second place to Shintani from first to third. And now Matt Caruana is trying to make it 4 wide.
Yeah, Caruana, who's got a fair share of victories in this championship, battling with a few drivers who don't have any. Despite Ryan McAuliffe taking part in the inaugural season of this championship and in quite a lot of races since, has yet to take victory in this series. He's in position to potentially try now, but Matt Caruana, a good friend of his, has just snuck his way through to take over the race lead. Obviously, Ryan McAuliffe doesn't have a victory in this group. Connor Jupp doesn't have a victory in this group. Shomi Shintani doesn't have a victory, nor does Beckham Jasir. Matt Caruana, the race leader, most certainly does, and this is how he stole over the race lead.
From fourth to first, got past Shintani easily, then through the middle. What a move that is. The other two being a bit more cautious, backing out of that one. Caruana, absolutely not cautious, just sending it through there, and the 15 hits the front, but it's going to be such a big job to hold on to these guys. If you can go from fourth to first in one corner like that, you can go from first to fourth, but make that fifth, as you say. Beckham Jasir now is on the back of this. Williams having a much better race today. Just a shame for Espez being involved in that battle a couple laps ago.
Hey, Henry Moore's not too far away, and he's dragging along his teammate Remy Gilbert as well. We're going to have a lot of battling here for the race lead over the final 12 laps, side by side between Matt Caruana and Ryan McAuliffe. Also into the mix is Connor Jupp, side by side as well between the two Williams. One main team, the Williams Sim Racing team, also the Williams Sim Racing Academy there in Shomi Shintani. Matt Caruana hangs on to the race lead, looking for his 7th victory in British Formula 4 Esports, looking for his 2nd of the season and to become the first repeat winner of 2025. Side by side for 4th position, Beckham Jasir and Connor Jupp.
As is going to continue on in towards the complex, isn't it? The Bennett boys sitting behind. They look, and it is now a 7-car battle, and the magic number is 6 in his championship, so this cannot end well. But let's see how it goes. The top two are getting a little bit of a breakaway, though. That's not a good run for Shintani. Loses a place to his teammate. He's going to lose another one to Connor Jupp, and now we're seeing Henry Moore hold on to this one. The inside line opens up, but he doesn't go down the inside, so he's going to sit there in this 6th position for now. But I mean, you just can't take your eyes off this at all. Shintani once again goes wide, a little bit of a different line. He was leading this race at one point, now down for 5th. It might be 6th though. Henry Moore sends it up the inside.
Certainly so. Brilliant attempt there from Henry Moore. Shomi Shintani then dropped back into 7th position. I did see a post on social media from Henry Moore earlier on in the week. He did a karting race and was on the podium. He was in, I think, 2nd place, might have been 3rd. And I replied, I was like, mate, you look miserable. And he's like, yeah, because I didn't win. I can tell you now, he's as is with all drivers, we only like winning. That's the only good bit about this. He will be disappointed with anything below a victory, I'm sure.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, you know, when I was actually getting wins. I certainly know that feeling. Getting just on the podium, it feels like you've lost. And when you have that mentality, that is what keeps you hungry and what keeps you going for more. McAuliffe has taken the race lead, though, from Caruana at the back end. Sorry, the start of this lap, I should say. And now Beckham Jasir is sitting in 3rd place in a very good position. Shintani gets jumped there for 6th as well. So, I mean, you just change every lap. You've got to be comfortable with everything moving. Sometimes in these races we see drivers sit and wait for the last couple of laps, but no, not in this championship. You have to go for every move that opens up. Though having said that, Jasir sitting behind a 3-way bump draft up towards the club chicane.
7 cars battling over 1st position, and halfway through the race, 9 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Still a lot of action and a lot of talking points to come in the final 9 minutes of this race. And I'm sure, Cam, there is going to be a lot of drama as well. 5 cars separated by 0.3 of a second across the line in race number 1. Not sure we'll get a repeat of that, but I'm sure... Well, I'm pretty sure that of these 7 cars, surely someone's not seeing the checkered flag. Surely there's some drama here to come.
There might be when we get towards the final chicanes. Here's Olivia Hayward. Oh, that's such a shame. The car's spinning in front of her, and basically can't do anything about that. Do they rejoin? Looks like they should do, though. So that is that's a good job by that nose. Is a little bit bent.
Yeah, can't remember. I can't see who that was. Will Chadwick was trying to make the move a bit further down the order. Oh, and got spun off. It's not a good start to the season for Will Chadwick, who was penalised a few times away from a couple of victories last season as well, but did catch the eye of race control a few times last season. This time he isn't even getting far enough in the race to do so.
Yeah, I did say earlier, one of the most unlucky guys in sim racing, but sometimes you make your own luck, to be honest. He is definitely fast enough to win races in this category, as we've seen previously, but gets involved in a couple of incidents here and there. Beckham Jasir sits in third place. McAuliffe and Caruana swapping places, but well, what order are they going to be when we get towards the checkered flag? Because we've got Moore and Gilbert sitting in behind here, and they are certainly going to go for this as well. It is ever changing, but as we come out of the complex once more, we've got Caruana leading his good friend McAuliffe.
Yeah, this is the thing, is that looking at this group, we've got some very different drivers in this, obviously all very talented, but you've got your Matt Caruanas, your Henry Moores, your Remy Gilberts that are going for the championship. They are, as much as you sit there and be like, well, surely everyone's going for the championship. Not necessarily. You know that those drivers, your Matt Caruanas, your Henry Moores, Remy Gilberts, those are the ones that will be at the front all of the time. You've got those that are going for their first victories, your Ryan McAuliffes, your Shoma Shintanis, your Connor Jupps, your Beckham Jasirs. For Beckham Jasir, it's kind of like, I didn't do the previous round, so I'm trying to make the most of that situation, absolutely throw myself into this. And that's where you get this incredible fighting, where all these storylines line up to get these excellent battles around the Thruxton circuit, with a big moment there for Beckham Jasir, right ahead of the Bennett duo of Henry Moore and Remy Gilbert. It opens up the opportunity for Shoma Shintani to come through.
Certainly does. Unfortunately, Gilbert there had a big hold up, and as we come down in towards the complex, the top two might be getting away here. Let's see how this one goes as we exit that. Gilbert around the outside trying to hold on from Shintani. Kind of jump, can only sit there for now, and it looks like it would just about hold on to that one, but this is going to be an important lap to make sure the top two don't get away. It's 9/10 of a second. If that gets above a second, we could be under threat, but now they're onto the fat out section. They should just about be okay to reel them back in.
Look at how close they are for the race lead. McAuliffe, Caruana, once again, extremely close. As much as they're friends off the circuit, I'm sure there won't be any thought of that whilst they're on the track. Yeah, you get to battle here for a victory. These two will hold nothing back. Matt Caruana up and under, departs Church down into the final chicane at Club. We ride now on board with Ryan McAuliffe, who's on the outside onto the braking zone into that final chicane. Will not go for anything here. Matt Caruana sneaks his way back through as they slam their way over that chicane. Got to be careful of doing that too many times or even getting too close, because they could well pick up a slowdown penalty, which we saw in the first race.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. Lost easily a couple of tenths there for McAuliffe, and now that's led Jasir to get on the back of the wall. I was worried about that 1 second gap, but within one straight in the braking zone, they are back there. So hard to break the slipstream around this circuit. So Caruana has a half a second lead, but I mean, I do like Jasir for this race. I tell you what, he's been looking very, very good so far, and it might be another good opportunity there.
This is a bit further down the order. One of the Rox Red Bull Racing cars. You also, I think it might be Joel Hole here going for a move. This is a bit further down the order. Battle for 15th position then. And the sweep around the outside for Joel Hole, getting past Perez. The inside line working through his back end of the circuit towards Church. Is there going to be the full switch as Joel Hole had that difficult start to the season, but is trying to bounce back and use some of that experience that he gained from 2024. Here's looks for the race lead.
Certainly, it's a Caruana. They stay in the same order. Caruana, McAuliffe, Jasir, but Henry Moore is just waiting for his opportunity, isn't he? Shintani in the background is looking very crazy. We're three wide in towards the final chicane. We've got Espes coming up the inside of Hull, so Perez loses another place there, as Leo Brown is also trying to reignite his race back in 16th place.
Yeah, it was an excellent move from Pablo Espes, who's rising his way up the order, getting past the Altitude Freem Esports car there, and a superb move to throw away back in. Mia Rose into the pit lane.
Yes, and actually rejoining. So what's
straight
that?
Out, maybe avoiding something and then coming straight through. Or could be a drive through, like you say.
Yeah, that's what. No, I was going to say the same. I think maybe avoiding something and having to go down pit lane, because it's very rare nowadays. You see drivers going down pit lane during the race.
Yeah, so you wouldn't do it really for, you know, no tyre change or anything like that. You don't get any of that in here. Very close between first and second once more as we go through Church. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. 3 laps left to go at the line. Beck and Jasir charging into the victory, right on board with Henry Moore.
Well, I like that move from Jasir. He moved to the left-hand side, I think more so to block off Henry Moore getting the run, because there would have been a car length for him to gain, so that was good from Jasir. After a bit of contact going through Church with the cars up ahead, so this is very tight now. They're starting to take some risks. They know they've got about 3 laps left to go in this race, and they know the opportunities are dwindling with that, and of course it's very intense, high-paced action around Thruxton, so drivers can get a little bit carried away with themselves sometimes. But as I said before, Jasir is looking good. I think he's positioning himself nicely. But when you have 2 friends up ahead, you've got 2 teammates behind, he's a little bit stuck because we've lost Shintani and Jupp a little bit in this battle.
Certainly have. McAuliffe started out the season with a 26th place and then a retirement back in Donington. That 11th place has given him reverse grid pole here after rising up from the rear of the field, a qualifying ban. Then up to 11th position, clearing 2/3 of the field. He's got the final third in that reverse grid, but will he be able to hold it for 2 minutes and 30 seconds? I'm not so sure. Squeezing off Beck and Jasir, tries to find his way down the inside of Matt Caruana. Contact and bumping and barging between those 2 right there as Ryan McAuliffe opens a door, allows them to go through. Matt Caruana and Beck and Jasir. Cam, you like the look of Beck and Jasir. I get that. That was aggressive, that was bold, that was feisty. He's found his way through into the lead, but instantly has to pass it back.
Oh, they've got to be careful with this bumping and barging. There's another bit of contact, moving him out of the way. Caruana out of the way, in towards the complex we go. McAuliffe sends it down the inside. Jasir, strong, brave around the outside to retake that second position. This is a lovely battle for the lead here. Less than 2 minutes remain, and yet Jasir, unfortunately, didn't make that move. He's just a little bit untidy through the chicane, and now back to second.
Yeah, indeed, as we can see on board here with Ryan McAuliffe, the darkness in the room, the focus fully on the screen, moving over ahead of him. Beck and Jasir, the different lines that happen here around the back end of the circuit, the likes of Goodwood and such. It is that line, you kind of like sweep over the circuit from left to right. It's such a difficult part, and you typically have about 3 or 4 different lines that drivers take through there, depending on what's ahead of them, almost like an oval race around that part of the circuit. Slipstream given them from Matt Caruana over to Ryan McAuliffe. Beck and Jasir tries to go through it, almost snatches the front wing off of McAuliffe. We're about to start the final lap of the race, and the X-Link battling will continue. Oh, but there's a spin for Caruana. There was contact between Jasir and Caruana that sends Caruana around. It's picked up Connor Jupp, it's picked up Shoma Shintani in the background, and Jasir is now your race leader.
Yeah, Jasir was trying to get back in line, trying to make something happen. He slowed down as well. So the McAuliffes, the 71 cars hit the front. The 2 Bennett cars might be able to get themselves on a podium here. You might be right on the damage as well. Jasir's going to be struggling. He was trying to check up and get in line, but he couldn't do so. That further contact for Caruana, spins around, rolls back through the circuit. Now, she say Shintani and Yup nowhere to go at all, but for Caruana, with no drop rounds, that could be championship done. Let's see this once again from his onboard. He's doing the racing line, but Jasir is just there awkwardly, and contact is made.
Yeah, I actually don't believe it was a slowdown. I think, sorry, I don't believe it was damage. I think it was just a slowdown for Beck and Jasir, obviously, when he cut over on the left-hand side. Final run then down towards that final chicane. 4 for the race lead. Ryan McAuliffe, Beck and Jasir, Henry Moore, Remy Gilbert. 2 of those drivers looking for their first victory in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, and those are the 2 that are going to go side by side for the race lead. Beck and Jasir around the outside. Ryan McAuliffe trying to hold firm. Contact between the pair of them. They're going to skip over. They're both going to get a slowdown penalty here. It could be a 1-2 for Bennett. Could Remy Gilbert come and steal it away from the line as they drag their way up towards? It's Henry Moore for the second time this season, the first repeat winner of 2025, and it is a 1-2 for Team Bennett out of absolutely nowhere. Just patience, and it is rewarded.
Jasir didn't learn from the previous lap, and history repeats itself. Contact is made this time with McAuliffe. They go over the chicane, and as you say, get the slowdown. So Henry Moores, thank you very much, up towards the line, and he has nicked another podium and a win to go with that as well. And that just continues on. 4 in a row it is going to be. And where's Caruana? So Caruana's P8 in the end, so that's big points lost from him. That is certainly going to go down. So drivers dropped back. Someone dropped out. Jasir, yeah, Jasir must have had a penalty from that because he's dropped down to P23. Here's a run to the line. They're both trying to slow down Jasir and McAuliffe in time, and the Bennett boys go around the outside.
Yeah, I think for Beckham, he was unable to take the entirety of his penalty, and obviously it's translated then into a time penalty post race. He did cross the line, I think, in third, but yeah, has dropped down. Either way, it's a 1-2 for Team Benek, and a great start to the evening there with a double podium in the previous race, ended a double podium in this one. The only thing is, it's a 1-2, perfectly judged there. Henry Moore takes a second victory of the season, 6th victory overall in British Formula 4 Esports, and will extend his championship lead. Remy Gilbert then in second position, and Ryan McAuliffe on, I believe it is a first podium in British Formula 4 Esports. We'll catch up with them in a moment. Danny Moreno gets promoted up to 4th position then, so solid points for him in the championship. Will Redford in 5th position with Gogo Bowdy. Matt Caruana then in 7th with Jai Fletcher, Archie Heron and Rope Kirkapau rounding out the top 10. Fastest lap going the way of Remy Gilbert in 2nd position, so he'll gain that extra bonus point for doing so. Corey Aline in 11th position with Pablo Espez in 12th. Joel Hull with Diana Perez in 14th. Will Chadwick in 15th position with Leo Brown, Izzy Matthews, Shoma Shintani down to 18th with Mia Rose and Kieran Harding in 20th position. Pedro Silva, Olivia Hayward and Beckham Jasir would finish down towards the back end of the lead lap after that penalty. Connor Jupp down in 24th position after such a good drive for the Alpine Sim Racing team. Very disappointing, unfortunately, for him, just how it's unfolded. Noah Asbolston retiring from the race with Will Murdoch, Giles Genet, Stanley Deslandis, Connor Muir, Jonathan Riley, also retirements from the race, and the final 3 as well, Augustin Talashi, Charles Wimbley and Lucas Herman. All retirements from the final race this evening. Super race though, a super exciting result and a super exciting one too as well for Team Benek as well. We'll drag Henry Moore straight in here. He's not doing any laps. He's got his full focus on us. Stole that one away at the line after a slow down penalty between the top 2. Obviously, you know how that feels the other way around. So at least it came back for you there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, learned from race 1 really. Going into race 2, you knew what you had to do. Just sit back and let everything unfold. And obviously, it worked a treat. 1-2 from 9th and 10th. Can't be that really, can you?
No, certainly not. That means 4 races done this season, 2 victories, 4 podiums, obviously after the post-race penalties from race 2 at Donington Park. So pretty much a perfect start to the season. Is a lot of that, you know, the experience of last season? Have you come in with some extra learning this year? Because 4 podiums in a row is kind of rare to see in this championship.
Yeah, I think we can put it down to experience, just knowing when to do certain things and when not to do certain things. Probably last year, if I was in that situation there in race 2, I probably wouldn't have come out with the win. So yeah, experience, and yeah, I'm just putting it down to the practice as well. Obviously everyone at Benek and Drive Lounge as well doing such a good job in practice, putting the prep we need to put in, and yeah, it's coming off.
Obviously, very quickly before I let you go, later in the month, the global Formula 4 Esports Global Championship starts, and you'll be racing in that. How are you going to split your focus between this and that? How's that going to look for you and the team?
To be fair, I think it should be fine because the track's only announced the day before, so the prep for this isn't too disrupted. But yeah, just looking to do best in both of them, really.
Well, best of luck in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll return to Snetterton, another circuit where you took your first victory in British Formula 4 Esports. So best of luck there.
Thank you very much, guys.
There we go. Henry Moore on top, leading across the line. A 1-2 for Team Benek. Now it's time to catch up with his teammate who finished in 2nd position. A superb 1-2 that came out of absolutely nowhere. A double podium for both races this evening. Pretty much a perfect night for you and the team. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, me and Henry worked really well in that last race. Just sort of getting through the pack and, you know, just waiting for instance to happen in front of us. I mean, it was quite funny on the last lap going into the back straight. Like, we just knew something was going to happen, so we both backed off and just went for the exit. And yeah, it happened. And yeah, 1-2 is really good points for the teams. And yeah, I mean, just a good round for both of us, really.
Obviously, I mentioned it a little bit last round about how, obviously, you look back to 2024, you started the season with that excellent double podium. Yeah, sure, some issues outside of your own doing, kind of fell off a little bit then for the next couple of rounds. That's not happened here. Instantly jumped straight back into the next round, still got the speed, still got the consistency, still got the pace, and still got the patience. So clearly a lot is going your favour behind the scenes this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things to work on, like the quality and stuff. But no, I think race pace and racecraft have been pretty good all round. I think that was shown there with Henry and how we're sort of able to work our way through the pack. And yeah, if we can just continue that for the rest of the year, should be a pretty good year.
Well, yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that one. Three podiums thus far, at least 3 chats with me in the comms booth anyway so far, and 2 this evening. Congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
There we go. Remy Gilbert onto the podium once again. Now we'll catch up with someone who I'm pretty sure, I mean, maybe Ryan, you can tell me. Ryan McKay joins us here in the comms booth. I've gone through the stats books. Have you got a podium in British F4 Esports? Because I don't think you have. And despite starting from 2022, this has got to be a pretty big moment for you.
Yeah, mate, it's decent. I don't really know if I'm honest with you. I feel like it's been a long time coming and I haven't been the best driver that I should have been, and I've been making loads of mistakes. But I think I strung it all together today. Obviously, I had a quali ban, drove from 34th to 11th. And yeah, got the reverse pole, done everything right. Me and Matt were doing well, working with each other, same as Beckham. And then, yeah, it just all sort of fell into place. Better than the first round. In the first round, 5 minutes before quali, my wheel decided to snap in half, so I had to use a round wheel and a sequential shifter. And mate, honestly, worst time of my life. But I brought it back this weekend.
I did see your social media post afterwards, and yes, the sound of that is brutal to try and. It's very unnatural for this car, but like you say, you've really returned to the front, and it's one thing that we've known about you over the last 3 years this championship. That speed's always been there, and so to finally capitalise on it, that win is there this season, isn't it? Surely.
Mate, fingers crossed. I feel it coming. Even in practice, I felt decent. I know, obviously, this track was going to be a lot about, obviously, who's got the best racecraft, best positioning, etc. And on that front, I'm quite strong. Obviously, pure pace, I might not be as quick as like Matt, Henry, all of them boys, but with the racecraft, I know I'm there or thereabouts. And if I can put myself in the pack, I know for a fact that I'll be able to put up a good fight.
Looking at the stats again, so your best result before this was a 5th and a 4th at Knock Hill later on, which was back in 2022. So that's obviously coming up later on in the season. Is that like a circuit where you'll be feeling pretty comfortable, or is there another circuit that maybe you're eyeing a return to the podium that suits your driving style and your approach?
Probably more Silverstone. Silverstone's normally a good track for me. Obviously, there's a lot of racing going on there. It isn't just pure pace. Knock Hill. Yeah, Knock Hill's alright. I never really liked the track though. And I'm not sure if Snet's on the calendar, but if Snet was on the calendar, I'd have been alright there. But yeah, mate, I'm feeling pretty confident now. That's definitely helped me wear in my boots a little bit, and feeling good to go.
Well, good news for you. Snetterton is the next round of the championship, so best of luck, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Cheers, boys. Appreciate it.
There we go. Ryan McAuliffe onto the podium. Great to hear. And a great round of racing here, Cam. Superb. And one thing that we weren't sure on was drama. He's muted his microphone. It's fine. And we salute the microphone muter.
Try not to interrupt the interviews. Yeah, plenty of action out there, to be honest, and almost a little bit too much. We saw, for instance, with Beckham Jasir there at the end. That outside line, it worked a couple of times in the Formula Fords for the victories, both victories there with moves around the outside. In the Formula 4s, not quite so much. The issue is you're so fast, and the racing lines on that right-hand side, there just wasn't enough space between the cars, unfortunately. And obviously that wasn't the only one. We had some huge contact up and down the field. It's one of those days, one of those tracks. And to be honest, whoever put this on the calendar was a brave man. Brave decision, because these drivers, they're a bit crazy sometimes.
let me tell you, the person that I believe put this on the calendar has nothing to do with Race Control, who I feel are going to be quite busy this evening with the Formula Fords and the British Formula 4. Best way to find out all those results is by going onto social media and following Motorsport UK over there. You get loads of information about the championship, including what's coming up next. October 15th, so in 2 weeks' time, we will be heading to the land of the scary tree. Of course, you can see it there on the right-hand side of your screen. The Snetterton 300 circuit will host round 3 of the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, which has Henry Moore as the championship leader by 18 points over Danny Moreno. A classic round here at Thruxton that has thrown the championship right up into the air as we expected it to, but still 6 more rounds of racing left to go from myself, Lewis McGlade, from Cameron Roger, and of course from Hugo Luis, bringing us the broadcast behind the scenes. We thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.